certain situations. But I brought out some books today. These are not comic books. You know, some folks, you may get into the knowledge that you're an Israelite or whatever. Some folks say that's cute, y'all reading the Bible. There is no proof and no artifacts of your forefathers. There ain't on no walls in Egypt. There's no tombs and no prophets. So we're going to dispel some of those myths real quick. I'm going to show a few pictures. This right here, this first book is called Icons. Again, not comic books. If you wasn't awake, you walk right past it in the bookstore. Icons, masterpieces of Russian art. How we depicted in Russia? By Olga A. Polyakova. The Bible, you know, when you need to walk up with your zone gang good. Straight. All right, now look. You flip over here, the page. Show a few of these when we get started. It's cute y'all reading the Bible, you know. But ain't no proof. Now this right here is the birth of the Virgin. It's the birth of Mary, the mother of the Messiah. And these pictures, this picture right here was painted during the 17th century in Central Russia, while you was a slave here in America. Look at this right here. This is Mary, her father, and her mother. This is how the Russians depict y'all. While you a slave in America, getting your back with big time.
Bring it a little closer, you book.
Want to bring closer?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I thought so. You know, I tell you. We get that right there. You see that afro right there on that brother?
It look like Negro.
Afro right there.
Yes, sir.
Y'all little jokers keep it down, man. Y'all see that? Now what the Russians know that you don't know, that you just finding out. Why every depiction of the Messiah outside of the Western Hemisphere, he's a dark-skinned man. But after everybody know that Jews and the Israelites are dark-skinned. Even Adolf Hitler knew that.
Yeah, that's right.
They ain't bigging him up, you know. He was all hell, but still, you know. He had that enough common sense to know that Jerusalem is Northeast Africa, Israel. You understand? So this is how the Russians were depicting the Israelites of the Bible in the 17th century, right here. Y'all see that? Again, this is called Icons, Masterpieces of Russian Art by Olga A. Polyakova. This was from the 17th century right here, which means this was the 1600s. All right, got some more pictures. It's cute y'all read the Bible now, you know. Y'all ain't got no proof of that. So they say. Let me show y'all something else. Show y'all how to go. All right, this right here is called The Appearance of the Holy Trinity to Alexander of Sphere, middle of the 17th century, Central Russia. Now, peep how they depicting these angels and a character bowing to them. Yeah.
That's over in Russia, huh?
In Russia. What the Russians know, you just not finding out. 17th century again, I mean, this is 1600s. Or you was getting, you know, hung sun up to sun down and picking cotton. You feel me? The whole world know who you are. Make no mistake about it. These aren't comic books.
That's right.
It is what it is. I got some more too. When you wake up and understand what it is, some people be like, well, y'all ain't got no pictures of no tombs or nobody found your bones. All right, this guy right here to my right, when I turn with a Bible in his hand, is a depiction of Philip the disciple. And then you got the Messiah when he was young in the temple, working off the elders. Look how they got Mary, Joseph, the Messiah, all of them. This is Philip the disciple right here with the Bible in his hand, to my right. Look at that Hebrew. And the young boy with perns over his back, that's the Messiah in the temple. Breaking off the elders in the temple, which you read about in the book of John. It's cute y'all reading the Bible, though. Y'all ain't got no proof of nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So,
what the Russians, you go to Russia and see all these icons, dark icons of the Israelites of the Bible. These are biblical things. You see that? I ain't got no proof. Y'all don't read nothing but the Bible. We only got full faith in the scripture. You know, some of us dive deep and, you know, do a little history and all that. But we only got full faith in the scriptures. But we got plenty of books if y'all think we just, you know, we don't read nothing else.
Right.
This brother right here got a whole, you see all this up here? This ain't even half of what he got.
that's
He's got a whole library at the crib.
it's a small suitcase.
All right, this is another one. The small suitcase. This right here is again the end of the 17th century, Central Russia, and this is the parents of Mary once again, hugged up like they, like they love one another, afros, Mary parents. 17th century, Central Russia. Or you call the blackie. You understand? The whole world know who you are. You the only one just not finding out.
Right.
That's why I feel so good when you first find out. But the whole world, like Jesus was black. They be like, you just not figuring it out. Right. The Pope even know that. The Pope bowed to a black image of Christ, Madonna, Peter. That statue of Peter, they bow and kiss. That's a brother. You look at him close. Nappy bird and all that. They didn't kiss his foot so much it didn't turn green. I mean, they ain't heavy idolatry, but right. Nonetheless. All right, so that's it for that one. I got something else for y'all, just real quick. Namesake.
Can you tell me the name of that book again?
Icons, Masterpieces of Russian Art by Olga, O-L-G-A, Polyakova, P-O-L-Y-A-K-O-V-A.
Hold
Y'all
that
can
stuff.
look
Hold
most of this
that
stuff
on.
up. You can look most of this stuff up on Amazon. They starting, the prices are starting to skyrocket.
Right.
Brothers starting, they getting bought at, breakneck speed. A lot of brothers buying. So now they like, oh, okay, we'll go ahead and skyrocket the prices. Also, this right here is called, when you trip off the title, you can walk right past it in the bookstore. Ancient Jewish Art. Moses said ancient. All right, so we're dealing with, antiquity. We ain't dealing with, converts a couple hundred years ago. Antiquity. So the argument is in the conscious community, where are the tombs of your prophets? Ain't no tombs. We done found Pharaoh, and so they claim there's no, proof that you ever existed. But it's cute you reading the Bible now. All right, so this right here is page 8. This is called the Tempion from the catacombs known as Jehoshaphat tomb, Kidron Valley, Jerusalem. Tomb of Jehoshaphat right there.
Right.
Kidron Valley, Jerusalem. Y'all know the first grave robbers are who you call archaeologists. Think about Indiana Jones. What y'all think they was doing back in the day? They grave robbers. They got all your artifacts. They know what it is. But the fact, they don't got Abraham bones on display in the museum with cotton stuffed up his rear end.
That's what they want to see.
Let that be preserved for the pharaohs. Your forefathers aren't put to shame like theirs. I would be ashamed if my granddaddy's rear end was exposed in a museum somewhere. And on top of that, you don't get buried, you get dug up anyway, man. Go ahead, Ebro.
Yeah, they don't have no bodies on the first pharaoh, so they didn't exist.
Yeah, exactly. I got some more for y'all. Hold on. It's cute y'all reading the Bible, right? But there's no proof of no type of, catacombs, no tombs. We done heard it all. And then there's some people that they debate in the conscious community don't have no sense to go research these matters right here. This right here is the catacombs of Ben Hazur with the tomb of Zechariah, the prophet. Kidron Valley. It ain't just his tomb. Look at the background. All the Kidron Valley is littered with tombs. Hebrews. That's the tomb of Zechariah right there. Let y'all see that. Real cute though, y'all reading the Bible now. I want to show y'all a few things real quick. Let me show y'all how they got Moses depicted in here. This is right here. Herodian fortress of Herod. To the right here, this is the aerial view. Herod in the Bible, ain't it? The Herodians. I mean, they was imposters, but nonetheless. You understand? Like, they got all your artifacts. They know what it is. So again, when you wake up and understand what it is, some people be like, well, y'all ain't got no, actually there's plenty of artifacts. You just gotta know where to go look. You understand? That's all it is. All right, I got also right here, whoever heard of Masada? Masada, the last stronghold that we had against the Romans before Jerusalem fell. Masada, which is Hebrew, which means fortress. This right here, the area view of Masada.
You said being tortured?
Right here.
Fortune.
Y'all do the history on Messiah. William Josephus said he will behold that Josephus. That history's in the back of his book. His brother finna hold up. The Roman and Israelite wars before the fall of Jerusalem. The last stronghold was right here, the Messiah. They got all your stuff. So it's not cute you reading the Bible. There's plenty of archaeology. You feel me? There's plenty of history that's back up what the Bible is saying. All right, let me show you how they got Moses depicted real quick. Hold on. One more thing, y'all ain't got no tombs. They ain't found none of your tombs. Like, trip about who tomb this is right here. It's a funerary monument known as Absalom's tomb. Who was Absalom? King David's son. So if Absalom existed, then what's up with this? That's Absalom's tomb right there. Over in Israel to this very day. That was one of King David's many sons, Absalom. So if he got a tomb,
Right.
if he existed, then that means his father existed as well.
Absolutely.
You see that? It ain't a game, man. Alright? So y'all Moshe. Brother Moses. These some coins right here. Let me show y'all some of that too. When the Hebrews went to war with the Romans before Jerusalem fell, it was a revolutionary war. And the first thing they had to do was mint their own money. They want to tell these Negroes playing, they're trying to throw America overtake America. You ain't got your own money.
Right.
Our people knew at least, but look, we're going to have to go ahead and get our own money popping before we go to war with this heathen. So we had money, we had coins, we had mint. You understand? You not taking this beast down with his own money.
You're right.
It'll never work.
No.
We minted our own money and still lost.
Right.
Still failed. It was prophecy, but at least they understood, like, come on, we going to war. I was fighting them. We depended on them for money and resources to fight a war. But it never worked. All right? Show y'all brother. My brother Moses. Brother Moses real quick. Let me see. Moses on page 70 something. Got y'all real quick. Hold on. That brother Daniel get to his class. Alright, now this right here, page 73. It said the Exodus from Egypt, the crossing of the Red Sea, west wall, upper register. Take this off right here. Both these pictures right here. You get close, Moses right here. Moses and Aaron, afros and all that. Look how they depict. Again, the name of this book is called Ancient Jewish Art by Gabriel Said Rechner. And this ain't like Rufus and them putting these books together.
Right.
You feel me? The first one was put together by a Russian. This one put together by a so-called Jew. But they're not lying about the history. It's what it is. You're just not gonna go search it out. Alright? I got one more to show y'all real quick. Again, the first one was called Icons, Masterpieces of Russian Art. Showing you the Messiah with an afro, his parents, one of his disciples, angels, all of them look just like y'all. All right, put together by a Russian. Not no cat off Cobrillion, no Russian. These scholars put these books together. All right? Nobody lying to y'all.
Right.
You know it's cute y'all read the Bible. And this last one right here is called Picture History of Jewish Civilization by Chartwell Books Incorporated. All right, and check this out right here. Ain't no picture of y'all in Egypt. What that say right there? They say the Hebrews in the biblical period. Look at that right there. Well, you got a wave cap on or something. Get that Hebrew?
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna read the caption. Let me know when you get zoomed in. Good.
I'm zoomed all the way in
Zoomed in
now.
good. The caption says, a Shemitic prisoner painted on terracotta from the period of the 19th dynasty. They got this picture in Paris right now. All right, so a Shemitic prisoner. We from the loins of Shem, right? Now look at this right here. Over in Egypt, look at the yokes of iron around their necks. Look at these brothers and sisters. This don't look like Steven Spielberg and them, but they people the ones putting this book together. Because when you reach back into any type of antiquity or history, and you're looking for Israel, you're gonna bump right into your people. You ain't gonna bump into no converts, you're gonna bump into your people. And they know that. That's why they gotta put it out.
Right.
The thing is, you're not gonna go look for it though. Alright? And in here, they show who the, they got a quick little thing right here on who the Edomites are, because that's another thing I heard. Oh, hold on, man, we gotta get this picture right here. This Hebrew. Look at this Hebrew with these locks, man. Zoom in good on this one right here. It says Assyrian relief showing the Hebrews abandoning Lachish, which had been captured by Sennacherib during his war against Hezekiah. And this is actually in a British museum in London. Look at this here, to the right. Look at this Hebrew here. You can zoom in on this with my finger yet? Look at that Hebrew lock, nappy locks and birds. And Hebrews abandoning Lachish when Assyria took down Israel. It's all history. You got that, Hebrew?
Yeah.
Maybe I'll just get that. Y'all come look at some of this stuff in class, get over.
That's right.
It ain't no thing. Show y'all something real quick. But RBL, because he's an excellent orator. But you read something for me real quick, Hebrew. We can get her done. But now you get to it. Right here, Babylonian jewelry. Read that right. This is page 94. Because it's a big misconception of who the Edomites are today. You know, it's crazy. People run around arguing over the Arabs and the white folk, whatever. But look at this on page 94. What that say right there? Read that. Let me read the whole book.
Okay. It says, during the generations in which the Romans succeeded in dimming the glow of the Jewish center in Palestine, Babylonian jewelry was well off. There were neither conversions nor plunder there, and neither Greece, Byzantium, nor Edom, Rome.
No.
Edom, Rome.
Nor Edom, Rome.
Edom, Rome.
I'm glad my brother here. Yeah, you was talking about that, Hebrew. Edom, Rome. Go ahead.
Ruled them.
Yeah.
And the Lord did the Jews a favor, and they lived in Babylonia with their Torah from the exile of King Jeconiah, or that Jehoiakim, until these last generations.
So we're saying when we was in Babylon, you feel me, they left us alone a little taste. We was able to live without Torah and all that. But the whole thing was, trip off that, it said Edom, Rome. Edom, Rome. And that's right here in the history book. You understand? So just want to show the class that little taste for and got to this lesson. A lot of folks think it's cute you reading the Bible now. Like y'all don't do no type of research, no type of history. We do all that.
That's
just
right.
our full faith is in the Bible.
That's right.
That's what it come down to. So go ahead.
Anybody got any questions or concerns? It's gonna be well, it was a hectic week. White House is crumbling. Bannon's out. So the chief advisor, y'all, and whenever y'all read the scripture, you know, you always see that Pharaoh or any king always had a chief advisor. So it's nothing new what they're practicing, and they would advise them which way to go. But if you ever wondered how Pharaoh's heart was hardened, you getting a live example of it in Donald Trump. He'll say something against his will. Didn't really want to say that, what he said. I'm sorry about what happened in there, and all Klansmen is bad, Ku Klux Klan is bad, and all of that. But the very next day, he come right back out like Pharaoh. No, it was some good people mixed up in there. The bad people was on the other side wielding them sticks at them good Klansmen. So he's been doing this consistently and making everybody bail. So y'all, what we're getting is an eyewitness account of what took place in Egypt before it failed. We're watching all of the monuments fall down, just like they shot all the nose off the Sphinx back there and defaced all of their monuments before it came down. So what we're getting is order out of chaos, which they should go ahead and just say New World Order out of chaos, because that's what they're destroying, is this way of order in this nation to bring it into a one world government. This is all by design. And y'all, with what's expected to take place on Monday, this August the 21st, which is also a new moon. You got people lined up right now, got the highway blocked off already. Everybody waiting to get a glimpse of the eclipse. Now either we into the seventh trump and don't know it yet, and Donald Trump is actually the Antichrist, or we getting ready to see a sky show. They just had over in China, looked like a magic carpet up in the sky, everybody filming it. So we're starting to see the images and holograms to put up the strong delusions, the signs and wonders of the Antichrist, you know, which is the doth already work. And now we got an explosion of sex robots that's scheduled to come out and hit the market.
Children.
Sex bots. And for children, for pedophiles. And I'm talking about, they saying in the #1 dial so far that's being ordered the most is Marilyn Monroe. So we can kind of figure out who's doing the ordering. But y'all, we're about to see an explosion of these things, and these dials are so real, they carry 98.6 temperature on them with almost flesh-like skin. So smooth to the touch you would think it's the real deal. Now once it gets out there that they better than having a real wife, she don't talk back. She'll order food for you if you need it. Y'all, it's about to be wickedness at a high level.
Yeah.
But y'all, we need to pay attention Monday. This is the first time, y'all, that let children out of school. The highways are jam-packed. It's something about to take place. And there's something in the air about to go on with this thing Monday. And it being a new moon, it could trigger the pneumatic fault. It could cause tidal waves.
Yes.
Because you offsetting the moon and the sun. Or we could be close to the second coming, but we have to see the Antichrist or is already at work, y'all, so we need to be watching and making sure that your children don't stir up there at that thing. Because it'll cause damage to your cornea as well.
What time, man?
So right around here it's supposed to be about 11:15 a.m. in St. Louis time.
11, 2 or 3 something.
Between 11 and 2. You know, you'll watch for a full minute, it'll block out and then it'll move. But this is gonna give them a chance to go ahead and implement their Project Blue Band. Get everybody in glasses to be looking, and they sell them at a high rate. Y'all like this some kind of event. Like if they could, they would sell tickets. Send them home with notes. They ain't got to go Monday.
They got a field trip. They want to watch it. You got to consent, sign off on the paper, and you got to get them money for the glass. They take them on a field trip to the hope you can see it.
Y'all, they already giving us warning that clouds are starting to shape or different things showing up in the atmosphere. They getting you ready. And if you ain't on your study game, you gonna fall victim, just like 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 talks about. You know, you think it's the second coming, but actually it's the coming of the Antichrist and his kingdom to be set up here. So we want to be extra careful because they have to mimic what the Bible is saying. He's a great imitator. So he wants to do it exactly like how it's supposed to go down. They got weather balloons up so many thousands of feet to even with cameras on it to film as well. In the next level of the horizon. They want to see all of this. I mean, the firmament, I should say. They want to see all of this, y'all. Get it from every angle, y'all. And we just need to be careful. Keep our heads on swivel. Y'all, I don't know when in history, in my few short years here, that I've ever seen it come down to a new moon, or blocking out of the sun. Even the blood moons a couple years ago, it wasn't like this.
They got apps on phones so blind people can see it through vibration.
You hear what she's saying? Apps on the phone now so blind people can see it, feel the vibration of it. What you got?
Jeremiah chapter 10, verse 1 and 2. Hear the word which the Lord speaketh unto you, O house of Israel. Thus saith the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of the heaven.
Yes, sir.
For the heathen are dismayed at them.
Absolutely, bro. That's very powerful, y'all. So we're not to be dismayed at this. I mean, you hear them all at work. What you gonna be doing? Like this is an actual day to be doing something. What do you got planned for this day? Right, absolutely. So y'all, and also what Mal was hitting on the tombs, this is called the tomb of the patriarch of Rachel, Jacob's wife. First wife should have been, but the second wife, still to this day, going through the way up through Bethlehem, it was a travel route because she died on the way. So So they built a tomb to it. This tomb, it stands today. Y'all can Google this now. Rachel's tomb. So just Google it right now, y'all, and you'll see it sitting there to this day. So we have all of our patriarchs' locations of their burial spots. What they want us to do is dig them up. We don't do it. Resurrection gonna dig them up. Don't need to dig them up to prove them. How you gonna prove it's them anyway if it ain't nothing but bones and dust? That's gonna be the next problem, ain't it? How we know that's them?
Oh, they got their DNA.
Right, so, yo, we ain't gonna play around with them games, but what I wanna hit on today is a lot of things we talk about, or we see in the scripture, and it's dealing with unclean or clean, but the deal is until evening. Why is it that you're only unclean until the evening time? No matter what happens. So this is letting us know that this is not sin on the level that it brings forth defilement, but only uncleanness, you know, for a certain time or period. But what we had, y'all, we had our own physician, so to speak. We had our own parent plan, familyhood, all in Israel that the priest took care of, y'all. So they would determine certain things for a 24-hour period or a 12-hour period, the same way you would go to the hospital and they tell you you're contagious for a certain amount of hours. Make sure you don't cough on nobody, cough like this. So y'all, they took all of these things from the Bible as far as spreading contamination. So this is what these cleansing laws were for, was not to spread contamination. They didn't have nothing to do with putting somebody out permanently because you were only unclean for a certain amount of time to a time period of contamination passes. And then, so you wouldn't infect the whole community. Basically, like if smallpox was out, they're gonna quarantine you for a disease like that. That's on the side of leprosy that we're gonna get into as well. That you had to be separated from the people at this point. But just unclean until the evening, you know, we're gonna get into the scripts that what it prevented you from doing. And then we're gonna get into it after the order of Melchizedek on how the Messiah touched dead body and the disciples raised the dead, cast out demons, and also, you know, we'll see what a priest did the same things and they did not profane the Sabbath. Things happening on the Sabbath. So we want to get a clear understanding of that, y'all, today so that we don't have a misunderstanding and confuse unclean with defilement. Two different things. So if you will, give me these Hebrew words, unclean, and I may be pronouncing it wrong, tama, 29, 30, and 31. If somebody read those for me. TAW-MAY, I believe, how it's labeled. And read both of them for me, Keith. And then we'll read defiled, the same thing on number 1351 is ga'al. And we're going to hit evening, erev. Am I pronouncing them right? Okay. And that's 6153 because we're dealing with these three topics here. So we want to get a clear understanding because it could be a lot of confusion with someone thinking because if a man have relations with his woman, they're considered unclean. So is that saying marriage vows or defilement or they're unclean or they're sin? No, no way, shape, and form, but there's a time period that has to pass so that no contamination spread forward. And y'all, we're gonna get clear into that so that there don't be no misunderstanding because a lot of people think, well, that's sex is sin. Only if you ain't supposed to be having it. The marriage bed is undefiled. So y'all, we'll bring all that in, tied in together. What you got, Lex?
I got unclean, tameh.
Tameh?
It is Hebrew Concordance 2931, tameh. And it says, right, tameh. It says unclean, impure. It says foul in a religious sense, defiled and famous. It says polluted, unclean. Polluted, unclean.
Hit 2930.
2930.
Yes, it's two verses.
Hebrews 2930 is It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Tamah. It says unclean, to be unclean. Root word, to be foul. It says in ceremony or of moral sense. It says to be contaminated.
To be what?
To be contaminated.
Uh-huh.
It says to pollute thyself. To make self-pronounced unclean. Utterly unclean.
So that's the one we're kind of looking at. Then he'll be defiled 1351. So we get the difference in the understanding because they're two different words, you know. It's certain things that defile you, that makes you not worthy to be around anybody or the Most High himself, you know. When he calls things an abomination, those are defilements. Murderers, liars, adulterers, those are defilements because they're sin. So there's a difference in a contamination period, or we'll start to label intercourse sin. Like some have said, you know, you'll see YouTube videos out there that actually states that. But we're going to get into some Genesis to understand the first unclean era and how it must be cleaned up, y'all. We'll pick it up, we'll speed it up real quick and get right to the heart of the matter so we get some clear understanding about what takes place. And y'all, when you see the washing rituals, if you owned a laundromat back then, boy, you'd be sitting on fat. Because we had to wash consistently. So when you understand the Messiah was telling them, he wasn't talking about eating with dirty hands when he was saying you make outside a cup clean. He's just telling you, you have to, first things first, understand from a moral perspective as well. When we get into the order of Melchizedek, of morally unclean in your mentors. Go ahead, brother.
We got Hebrew Concordance 6031, and it's the Hebrew word anah, and it's to be defiled. Strong says, rather indication, it says through the idea of looking down or browbeating, to depress, literally. It says to infect, to abase self, to afflict. It says by mistake, chasten self, deal hardly would, defile, exercise force, gentleness, humble, self-hurt, rather, seem, mistake for speak, by mistake, to defile.
Is that 1351?
13, yeah.
That's 1350, God.
I got
That's
1351.
That's
right?
630.
Okay.
1351 is God.
G-A-W-A-L. Yeah.
Well, Hebrew would just say G-A-A-L.
Right.
Is to soil.
To
or
what?
To soil or to desecrate.
To desoil or to desecrate. That's what Nero Caesar did when he came in on the temple. He defiled it with what? Swine's blood. Poured it all over. That's why we're not to eat blood, because it'll defile your temple. It'll do more than make you unclean. You will technically be defiled. Go ahead, bro. What does that say?
Defile, pollute, stain.
So we see there's a stain on it. And what we see, like Esau, for one morsel of meat, he despised his birthright, and he was defiled after that because he took a covenant and looked at it like it was soil. Didn't mean anything to him. So here's the last one, y'all. We get rolling. Evening 6153. Strong, I believe it is. So we have the three words that we're dealing with, unclean until evening, but we want to make a distinct difference between unclean and being defiled.
That's the same as abomination, ain't it?
Yes, sir. It's the difference in like having a yeast infection versus AIDS. Yeah. That's the wide margin between the two. This one over here, I don't care what you do, you ain't gonna be clean by eating. This one over here, yeast infection, you go down on brand, do a few things, and maybe some baking soda, vinegar, something. Y'all know that's some homemade remedy. You know what it is, but there are things that happen. It could be diet related. A lot of those are emissions are diet related. Too much yeast, too much sodium, too much this causes discharge. What you got, bro?
6153, Erev, dusk, day, evening, tide, night.
Day, evening, tide, night, or what time of period we call twilight. Y'all, twilight is the evening time, but evening is the end of the day before you go into a new day, because day starts at night, at sundown. A new day starts at sundown. That's why the script always ends with the second half of the day, and the morning and the evening were the first day. Now, twilight is that time period or evening period, starts usually roughly, you'll say, y'all don't go back outside, it's too hot out there, go back out in the evening, usually 3 p.m. or so on. But as you get toward twilight, there's a period between the end of that day and sundown. It's called twilight. It's when the street lights come on. It's when you armor roll up your tires and your car is shining, you turn the park lights on and you want to cruise for that 45 minutes. It's a warning time to let you know you are getting ready to go in a new day. It's the same way as when dawn is letting you know that the night hours are ending, you finna go into the daylight hour portion.
That's right.
But night always comes before day consistently throughout the Bible. So y'all, let's just get right to it. Genesis 3, and I just want to get right to the part of uncleanness, of what happened. And then we'll see where the very first time that they were unclean, they had to get out of a sanctified place, so to speak. And that was the Garden of Eden. They were put out because of an unclean issue, which pretty much caused defilement. Stain was put on them at this point. So y'all, we want to make a difference. It didn't have anything to do with per se being fruitful and multiply the commandment. What Satan did is try to defile the commandment. Go ahead, brother. Genesis 3, start about 16. 15.
Book of Genesis chapter 3, verse 14.
Yeah, that'd be good, yeah.
Everybody there? All right. Verse 14. And the Lord God said unto the serpent, because thou hast done this, thou art cursed above all cattle, and above every beast of the field. Upon thy belly shalt thou go, and dust shalt thou eat all the days of thy life.
So we understand that he was not turned into a snake because of Isaiah 65:25 says it's just a pronounced curse on him. That since he was already supernatural, it didn't happen then, just like Adam wasn't put to death that same day. Adam lived 930 years. So, but one day to us, 1,000 years is as one day to the Lord to us. So no man has lived a whole day, 1,000 years. So this curse is the same everlasting curse until the Messiah comes back to fix it. And that's at the second coming. So if y'all read Isaiah 65:22 on down, you'll see that, and then shall the dust be the serpent's meat. But he ain't eat no dust now. Anyway, serpents don't eat dust anyway. They taste dust to see where they food at. Go ahead, brother.
Verse 15. And I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed. It shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel. Unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception. In sorrow thou shalt bring forth children, and thy desire shall be to thy husband, and he shall rule over thee.
So we see here the punishment was pain during childbirth, a cycle to take place, a monthly cycle. All of this for defilement, so to speak, of listening to somebody else bad instruction. So that defilement has to be purged monthly. Because without the shedding of blood, there ain't no forgiveness without the shedding of blood. It has to be. So all of this is taking place in a certain area. So you know it wasn't no apple eating, or it would have been teeth falling out. And thou shalt lose thy wisdom teeth before grade school. Thou shalt be missing thy frontals. You don't see none of that about eating with this mouth. But with the mouth south of the belly button, there's a lot of eating going on there. And you can back that up with Proverbs chapter 30, verse 20. Such is the way of an adulterous woman. She eateth and wipeth her mouth and say, I've done no wickedness. So what mouth is she eating with? So you have to understand how the Bible is writing these things. So we see that that's a sin, but not for women to feel like I'm cursed forever. Go ahead, read some more. We're going to hit that next, hit me that 2:10, but go ahead, finish a couple
Verse
of verses.
17. And unto Adam he said, because thou hast hearkened unto the voice of thy wife, and have eaten of the tree of which I commanded thee, saying, thou shalt not eat of it. Cursed is thy ground for thy sake. In sorrow shalt thou eat of it all the days of thy life. Thorns also and thistles shall it bring forth to thee, and thou shalt eat the herb of the field. In the sweat of thy face shalt thou eat bread, till thou return unto the ground. For out of it was thou taken, for dust thou art, and unto dust shalt thou return.
So y'all, we have to understand, a lot of times we talk about dirt, man made from dirt, but man was made from dust. It's the residue of dirt. If you wipe your finger across your TV screen, you ain't cleaned it off in a minute, you'll see that streak from your finger, and you'll see dust particles on your finger. It's almost like nothing. You can blow it into the air. So we're talking about technically the residue of a substance the body form was made from. Right. So this is how magnificent our Creator is, y'all. So we see the punishments, hard work after this, y'all, until we go back, or until the kingdom come back, that it will change for us. But y'all, we're going to have to hit it every day. Keep this Sabbath and continue on because of what took place in an undefiled area that we profane, so to speak. So hit that 2:10 chapter 2, verse 12 through 15 for me. So this is just a little comfort to know that women won't experience this throughout. There's times that supernatural things that have happened to you, that you have children painlessly.
You said 2 Timothy chapter 2?
Yeah.
2 Timothy chapter 2, you want to start at?
Verse 12.
Verse 12. I will see how I get that.
Y'all just hitting a few things to see that when the Messiah comes, he's going to set all of these things back in order. We're going to get our mental back right because it started with a mental. See, the two seeds were in her mental. She got impregnated with the words of Satan first, and then her husband, which leads to physical because she ended up touching. So, you know, it's a lot of doctrine out there. You got Sherry Trine out there saying that Cain was the serpent's son, but when you get into the language of the Bible, he was not. It was just on her mind while she was with Adam. Just like if you have somebody else on your mind while you're doing something else with somebody else. You know, you can actually bring these things into existence, y'all. You having your way with Bill Duke, but you thinking about Denzel Washington, hoping that the baby look like Denzel. Y'all, this is supernatural, powerful consciousness that we have in our body, y'all, that controls your thought process of right and wrong. And this is what we have to get back to, the moral part of when it's in unclean. You're not moral anymore. You're not thinking consciously anymore. It's just all flesh. So go ahead, bro. Where we at?
In the book of 2 Timothy chapter 2.
1 Timothy chapter 2. I'm sorry, y'all. Right on, man. Thank you, bro.
All right, 1 Timothy chapter 2. Where I'm starting at?
12.
Verse 12.
Yeah.
Everybody there?
Let's go to the 9.
And 9.
The book of 1 Timothy chapter 2, verse 9. In like manner also, that women adorn themselves in modest apparel, with shamefacedness and soberness, not with braided hair, or gold, or pearls, or costly array,
Right.
but which becometh women professing godliness with good works. Let the woman learn in silence with all subjection. But I suffer not a woman to teach, nor to assert authority over the man, but to be in silence. For Adam was first formed, then Eve.
Right.
And Adam was not deceived, but the woman being deceived was in the transgression.
Right.
Notwithstanding, she shall be saved through childbearing.
What should she be saved through?
She shall be saved in childbearing.
Right.
If they continue in faith, in charity, in holiness, with sobriety.
So right here it's saying that if you tie up, if you link up one flesh, it'll ease that because your one flesh is one thought process now. There's no intervention from the outside. Children will be born painlessly. Now, I don't need that epidural. What is it? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, right.
I don't need none of that. There's no screaming and hollering. You just standing out there. Next thing you know, here, look up. Then it's a boy. So y'all, hey, well, look, when you get into some of the lost books, the emphases of the Messiah, the midwife, and also in Egypt, when our Pharaoh was trying to kill us, they say the babies are being born so fast that we don't even have time to nurse. They already popping out that quick before we can even get there. Before we wash our hands and walk back in like this, they already out. And the Messiah was born the same way. It say there was no pain, and it say a light shone in that tomb area, in that cave area where they were when he was born, and there was no blood, no pain. She wasn't hollering or none of that. So if y'all get into the emphases of the Messiah, y'all see a lot about how he was born and what happened. So he came to clear that up for everybody to see. The midwives, they was like, hey, there's something going on with here. This is a supernatural people the way they birth. You know, long as we got our minds set together and there's no chaos in between the two. All right, y'all, so we're going to get right to it. Leviticus chapter 15. And y'all, these are what we're talking about, contamination laws and unclean just until the evening. And why was the evening? Is because we had a morning, noon, and evening prayer. The evening prayer was pretty powerful, like what we call the number one prayer between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m., the hour of prayer, or what we consider the evening prayer. It's a time that when the waters were troubled in a pool of SHALOM, around that time. It's the time that the Messiah gave up the ghost. It was about the 9th hour. And if you do the count, you do from 6 to 7 is 1. 7 to 8, 2. 8 to 3, no, I'm at 9. Yeah, I'm way off, but y'all do count from that. Yeah. But most of the time we think it's 3 p.m. to 4. It's technically from 2:01 to 2:59, and then the 10th hour starts at 3 p.m. technically, because you got to end back up where you started. You can't go an hour over. If you make 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock the 9th hour, your day gonna end at 7 p.m. instead of 6 where it started. You have to always like the Sabbath. The Sabbath don't start Friday sundown and then it go to it picks up Saturday to sundown the next week. It's consistent with Friday sundown every week, 52 weeks, non-stop. Go ahead, brother. Leviticus 15 chapter.
We'll start at 1.
Yes, sir. And see, y'all, what we have here is the first 18 verses are strictly for a man. And these are cleansing processes, y'all. We were a pious people, a clean people, y'all.
That's right.
I mean, we just wasn't walking around dirty like we just woke up behind a liquor store or something. No, we was consistently washing because we were set apart. We were a sanctified people, set apart from the rest of the world who may have took a bath once a year. Go ahead, bro.
Reading in the book of Leviticus, chapter 15, verse 1.
Yes, sir.
And the Most High spake unto Moses and to Aaron, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, When any man hath a running issue out of his flesh, because of his issue, he is unclean.
He is what?
He is unclean.
See, it says a running issue out of his flesh. He's leaking.
Hey, what's that called?
He's leaking.
So, I mean, y'all, man, look, these things can come from various things. First being on the lighter side, a yeast infection or a bladder infection. So we're not just talking about bad intercourse, it could be bladder infections that cause a running issue. So you're unclean. Go ahead, bro.
Verse 3.
Or the big one, STDs.
Yeah.
This is saying that's a running issue. You can't do nothing to stop it. You can put all the cotton, you can stick a Q-tip up in there, but it's coming. Go ahead, bro.
Verse 3. And this shall be his uncleanness in his issue, whether his flesh run with the issue or his flesh be stopped from his issue, it is his uncleanness.
So short term or long term is unclean because the body is discharging bad toxins. So that's what we want to make clear, because this is a living book. It has to deal with every aspect of our life, even doctor visits. And it gets personal. Just like you go in there with your doctor and he like, you need to pull all them clothes off. Or pull them shorts off too. This is getting down to that. Pull them shorts off. Let us see what's going on. Go ahead, bro.
Verse 4. Every bed whereon he lieth that hath an issue is unclean, and everything whereon he sitteth shall be unclean.
Because it's contaminated, so to speak. It's a contamination. If that drips on something, if it get on something, anything, is why you see more and more signs in the bathroom, wash your hands. Some people go right out. That stall door closed and it smell like they need homicide tape put up in there and walk right past the sink. And what's the most filthiest thing if you Google it right now? The doorknob. Go ahead, bro.
Verse 5. And whosoever toucheth his bed shall wash his clothes and bathe himself in water and be unclean until the evening.
Because see, that technically gets rid of mild contamination. All you have to do is wash hands. That's why the doctors wash their hands so much. They come in, you be like, he gonna wash all the fingerprints off his hands. They constantly washing. Every patient they go to see is constantly washing, and you should do the same thing. You know, if you coughing and hacking, and they used to teach people how to cough in their hands, but they had to stop that because it's spreading a lot of contamination at that point. So they'll have children sneeze like this or cough in the center of your elbow, you know, so not to spread that. Because it only takes real quick before you get a scratchy throat, don't it? Huh? Smack on the lips is a scratchy throat. Children talking in front and a cough right in front of you while you buttoning up their clothes. You like, cover your mouth. 2 hours later, what? That boy done gave me his coat. Transferring it that quick. Go ahead.
Verse 6. And he that sitteth on anything whereon he sat that had the issue shall wash his clothes and bathe himself in water and be unclean until the evening.
Right.
And he that toucheth the flesh of him that hath the issue shall wash his clothes and bathe himself in water and be unclean until the evening. And if he that hath the issue spit upon him that is clean, then he shall wash his clothes and bathe himself in water and be unclean until the evening.
Now, this nation has a law that they'll lock up anybody that has a permanent or defiling running issue, such as AIDS or chlamydia or any of those big ones. That if you spit on somebody, they'll lock you up. Because you could actually, if that spit get into any open wound, anything like that, a sore in the mouth, anything. What you saying, bro?
Pores on your arm?
Pores on your arm, anything, y'all, that virus could get in, because you have pores and they're open. They open up. It's how sweat glands are there. And it also will pull in. So y'all, everything that they're doing now, doctor, these things came from here. on how to quarantine a people so that the whole camp don't die out. This is how Esau was so successful in wiping out the Indians. Got them loaded up with 300 proof whiskey. And while they dancing and hollering, they say, y'all, it's gonna be a little chilly tonight. Y'all may wanna put these blankets on you. Right. Now you sweating with your pores open with that 200 grain alcohol. And then you pull a smallpox blanket up to here. Yo, we talking about somebody using dirty tactics. There ain't got to be no war after that. When you wake up full of diarrhea and sweat, ain't no war for you. What you gonna do? Go ahead.
Verse 9. And what saddle soever he rideth upon that hath the issue shall be unclean.
See, and y'all, we have to understand also, a lot of times it's saying these things that have the issue, if you can look at him, you can see he's kind of leaking through his pants, it's getting on other items, so to speak. You can't sit there either, or you'll be contaminated. Go ahead.
And whosoever toucheth anything that was under him shall be unclean until the even. And he that beareth any of those things shall wash his clothes, and bathe himself in water, and be unclean until the evening.
So we understand that the evening is a time period that let us know if it's passed or if it's transferred to us. You know, if it has, then you're going to follow the next steps that we're about to read about. If not, you cool into the next day. It's how some doctors are able to go into every patient's room, some with the heebie-jeebies, and still they're able to come to work the next day. Because y'all have to really think about that, y'all. If there was no doctors or physicians, or you had to deal with your children or somebody that's sick, if you say, no, I can't touch you, everybody be dead. Somebody got to help heal somebody or bring the healing medicine. All you have to do, though, is follow the washing process after you do those things, and you be in accordance. And it's only lasting until twilight or when the street lights come on.
And some people also have a stronger immune system than others. You know, when
Absolutely.
type of area you build up, the body adapts.
And what we're talking about, what he's speaking of, is white T cells. If your white T cell count drop, you're open for all diseases because your immune system is so weak. It's super weak. Somebody can sneeze down on Delmar here and you'll feel it. I'm talking about you have nothing to fight off anything. So white T cells count must stay high. And y'all, these are preventive measures from causing your T cell count to lower. Go ahead, brother.
Verse 11. And whomsoever he toucheth that hath the issue, and hath not rinsed his hands in water.
Had not done what?
Rinsed his hands in water.
What that sound like, y'all? You didn't wash your hands, did you? Right. I didn't hear nothing in the bathroom. Come back in here. That sink dry. You just pulled your drawers up and came right out of there.
The issues on his hand.
The issues on his hand. Because he was handling. Go ahead.
He shall wash his clothes and bathe himself in water and be unclean until the evening. And the vessel of earth that he toucheth, which hath the issue, shall be broken, and every vessel of wood shall be rinsed in water.
So right there we see every vessel of earth. So back in the day we made glasses and different things out of pottery, so to speak. You clay deal. Those had to be broke. It's just like today, you won't drink out of nobody's cup. You see them coughing, right? You're like, who glass is this? This junior glass? No, give me another glass out of there because you don't want to drink out of that cup. Right, yo, these things, this is where this comes from. Go ahead. Look, you passing the hen bottle. You know, you hear somebody coughing, you're like, no, partner, you can keep that. Going like this up here and he washed back, flying back up and they like, no, that was yours. Keep that one, I'll go get another. Look, yo, it's in our DNA DNA, y'all, we understand these things so much, we just don't trip off of them. Even when we talk about the spit, somebody can be talking, and they can talking, and you hate for somebody to be talking while you eat, and talking and food flying out of their mouth. You can have a big old meal like this, and if it hit right there, ain't none of this get eaten. You will sit there like, you like, dog, you ain't gonna eat that. Nah, man, for some reason, I just ain't. I mean, you automatically, it done defiled this whole this whole plate unclean. I shouldn't say defiled. But it's unclean because it flew out of there. Now look, you be talking, somebody spit or fly and hit you on the forehead, and for some reason you won't do this, you be just standing there like it's burning like acid. You be like, will he shut up so I can wipe my forehead? And then you go look in the mirror. Y'all, we already know these things, y'all. It ain't no coincidence we do it like that. Go ahead.
Verse 13. And when he that hath an issue is cleansed of his issue, then he shall number to himself 7 days for his cleansing.
Hold it right there. But what I want to say about also that wood, if it's any utensil that you use like wood, like spoons today, all it cleans those is hot water. You know, but a cup that was made out of that, because it's made out of dirt, the contamination can get within it. Because it has pores in it, right? You know, because it's basically made out of earth.
It's like we are.
Like we are. So, but wood and different things, or spoons and different things, that's why they tell every restaurant, make sure it's at least 1,500 degrees. And it'll kill all the germs off of that. Go ahead, brother.
And wash his clothes, and bathe his flesh in running water, and shall be clean.
Running water.
And
See, what did that running water do to him? And he shall be what?
he shall be clean.
So y'all see that washing, just getting in the shower, taking a bath, it cleanses all that off, it washes those toxins away. So y'all, baths are very important.
Notice it said running water. It didn't say stagnant water.
Right, running water.
The water that you sit in, running water.
Shower, so it brings it all down the drain. Now look, a lot of times you may not be in position, may not be where you can get to running water, or the sink may be the running water.
Right.
But you have to wash them areas. You don't have to wash your whole A, but you have to wash your A hole, because that'll stink. So, in case you're in a position like in jail or something, so in certain situations. Hey, I'm just saying, because you don't have to wash your underwear too if you don't. Right. Because there'll be a streak in there. Y'all know what I'm talking about.
It's funny because it makes sense. It makes sense.
Go ahead, bro.
All right, verse 14.
It's Bible study, huh?
Since you ain't got to wash your whole, ain't just that A hole. Oh my goodness. Verse 14. And on the 8th day he shall take to him 2 turtle doves, or 2 young pigeons, and come before the Most High unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, and give them unto the priest. And the priest shall offer them, the one for a sin offering, and the other for a burnt offering. And the priest shall make an atonement for him before the Most High for his issue. And if any man's seed of copulation go out from him, then he shall wash all his flesh in water, and be unclean until the evening.
Now, remember I was talking to a brother pulled that and said that this makes be fruitful and multiply sin. This is not sin, because we're moving into the next level now. Now we're talking about intercourse. See, now we're talking about seed of copulation, or seed of birth, so to speak, or pregnancy, so to speak. You know, now we're moving into a different area. The first area was just diseases or minor infections,
Or there's certain things you be unclean until the evening.
Until the evening.
Verse 13 was going to somebody that was cleansed of the issue.
Yeah.
He had to number 7 days. An actual issue, not just, certain things happen. Like nocturnal emissions or something.
That's right.
Wet dreams or something, something like that. You unclean to the evening. Based off whatever it done touched, you gotta wash that. Say you got on your hand, you shook somebody's hand,
Right.
that person was clean to the evening. 13 is going to an actual issue somebody done had. A running issue.
Right.
Until the 7-day cleansing period. Notice in verse 14, he went to a sin offering he had to come off. So that issue was brought on through some type of transgression.
Yes, sir.
In verse 13. Verse 14 cleared it up, and he had to come bring an offering to the priest. Notice it was a sin offering. Alright, so now in 15, we down to, laying, lawful, laying down with your spouse. Notice it says again, though. What does it say, verse 15? Read it again. 16, my bad, 16.
And if any man's seed of copulation go out from him, then he shall wash all his flesh in water, and be unclean until the evening.
See, so this is the term, even if you don't understand, you always know somebody got to go get the rag. So this is what it's talking about, y'all. Or you got to get up and go. This is why every hotel, they change them every day.
Supposed to.
Yeah.
They supposed to. But I knew boy I worked with it, they ran one of them Motel 6 or whatever. He said a lot of them got locked up when them Indians them Indian nations came over there, and they was doing what's called popping sheets. Take one off, pop it and turn it and put it back on. That's spreading contamination. Shalom, y'all. So y'all, we got a lot of things that the world already know about that we see with our eyes on this level. This is a fleshly level that we see the law of the Most High being performed, if it's being performed correctly. So you have to even be careful that if you put a sign on your door, say don't come in here. Or leave my sheets here, we'll change them ourselves. Just don't need you in here. Y'all in here. So and they'll leave everything, all the tiles, everything by the door, and you do your own thing. But they change them daily, they're supposed to. Because you don't know, somebody else was in that room 2 hours before you. Go ahead, bro.
Verse 17. And every garment and every skin whereupon is the seed of copulation shall be washed with water and be unclean until the evening.
So, y'all, the bed sheets and comforters should be washed more than they are.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're on there half a month. So y'all, these are the things, y'all, we have to be aware of. That you may not be thinking nothing's there, but if they come in there with a black light, like they do on them crime shows, because that's blood, y'all. That's what it's composed of. Blood, DNA. It shows up on a black light, don't it? Yeah. They put that light on, you see stuff, you be like, oh! The naked eye can't see. Stuff everywhere on the wall is still there. You be like, what the heck? What they was doing up in here? Black light will show it all. Lint on your clothes, lint in your hair. And they can show blood after it's even been washed with bleach. It's still a show up. It's that powerful, y'all. The blood is that powerful. Go ahead. Because the life is in the what? Okay, go ahead.
Verse 18. The woman also with whom man shall lie with seed of copulation, they shall both bathe themselves in water and be unclean until the evening.
So these are baths here. This is a difference here. So you can take a bath on these, Both of them get in water, but the first one, it says, any man's seed of copulation go out from, how does a man's seed of copulation go out from him without a woman? 2 different ways. One is Deuteronomy 23:10, if somebody grab that for me real quick. About that Deuteronomy 23:10. And y'all will see the ways that these things happen. And then you get into the marriage part, so to speak, where it's man and woman. But a man, that verse 15 is just talking about a man, because it can leave him without a woman.
Deuteronomy, book of Deuteronomy 23, verse
We're going to
10.
come right back to this Leviticus 15. It's just something very important in the law of Deuteronomy 23 and 10. Go ahead, bro.
Deuteronomy chapter 23, verse 10. Camp sanitation in wartime.
What is it called?
Camp sanitation in wartime. Verse 9 and 10. When the host goeth forth against thy enemies, then keep thee from every wicked thing. If there be among you any man that is not clean by reason of uncleanness, that chanceth him by night.
That do what?
Chanceth him by night. Then shall he go abroad out of the camp. He shall not come within the camp. But it shall be, when evening cometh on, he shall wash himself with water, and when the sun is down, he shall come into the camp again.
See, so this is saying out in war and a man's seed go from him. So a lot of times, you know how army barracks are. If multiple men around, some of you get up and you got the soggy shorts. Because
You've been dreaming about your woman.
you've been dreaming about your woman, you out there at war, a nocturnal emission. In other terms, if you look it up, it'll just simply say a wet dream.
Yeah.
Most young men experience this because they get an explosion of testosterone when they reach puberty. And that's what lets you know a child is ready to produce life. So now he has to come up under these laws. So that's the age of accountability for both man and woman when they reach puberty. Because they're going to get an explosion of testosterone. And these things may happen to them while they're asleep. Now I want you to think about the conscious and moral power or supernatural of what's going on here. You land flat on your back. No grinding, no friction, and it goes, boom. You couldn't do that if somebody paid you Powerball winners right now, watch your eyes open. Not without no friction, you can't. So y'all, these are how things we're talking about, are how powerful the mind is, that the Most High say your mentals have to be clean, so that your flesh don't become unclean till evening. You have to be in your dreams because Satan attacks in your dreams. That's why the evening prayer is so important, because you're going into the night hours of the day first, where you're going to be asleep. He's ready to attack then because your arm's flat on your side. You can't fight him off like you could if he just walked in this room right now while you woke. You can sell wolf tickets this way. But he like to come when you sleep, and if he see what you keep flicking that channel to, or what you keep Googling back to, guess what's coming in your dreams? That person. And in your mind while you dreaming, he always makes a way of escape, just like if you was woke. The phone will ring at 3 o'clock in the morning, which is considered the flip side of the hour of prayer. It's called the witch's hour. It's still the hour of the Most High. All hours are his. But it's the time that they say Satan attacks the most. Anybody usually getting woke up by the phone, or something goes off, or something falls off the wall and hit the thing, you wake up, you look at the clock, what time is it? 3 o'clock. Y'all Google the witch's hour and see what happened around 3 a.m. And they gave us a little bit of that in the movie The Matrix.
Yeah.
The phone always got him out of it. When it rang, it kind of woke him up and got him out of it. And you can pick up the phone and it won't be nobody there. Hello! Hello! It's 3 o'clock in the morning, who was this? And the number's all zeros. Then you have to think, what was I dreaming about? Oh, I shouldn't have been dreaming about that. Now either you can let it go at that point, get up and walk around and clear your head, or you can fight like the devil to try to get back in there to do some dirt.
Right.
But y'all, these things are happening supernaturally. Now y'all think about that. A supernatural event happening to you that you had to be morally conscious to tell the rest of the crew, I'm unclean, y'all. I'm unclean, y'all. Y'all have to put me over here till things straighten out for me till the sun go down. Go ahead, bro.
The book of Leviticus, chapter 15, verse 19.
What it say?
Hey, dang.
Yeah.
Hey, Trip, Leviticus 15, 16, 18.
Uh-huh.
Right? Notice you didn't have to bring any type of offering to the priest for a sin offering.
Excellent point, brother. Excellent point.
15. I mean, you're saying that because it's a doctrine right here saying if you lay with your spouse, that's a sin in the eyes of the Most High. It's a cat on YouTube and Facebook put his videos up. If you are intimate with your spouse, you're sinning. And he reads Leviticus 15, he reads 16
Yeah.
to 18.
Yeah, that's what he reads.
We just read, but if you back up to 13 and read through 15, you see there was an issue brought on through sinning. You had to be cleansed of your issue first, and then you would bring an offering to the priest. And down there in 15 it says, so he can make an atonement. What does atonement mean? See what I'm saying? Reconciliation for your iniquity of your trespass. When you get to verses 16 through 18, you ain't got to bring, you just unclean unto the evening. You don't got to bring no type of offering to the priest. You don't got to make no type of atonement or anything. You understand? So that's the difference. If y'all run into that doctrine saying that you're not supposed to lay with your spouse because that's sin. You understand? Like, that don't even make sense.
No,
Some people out there pushing that. If you get physical with your spouse, you're sinning. Where the scriptures say we just go through a period of uncleanness until the evening. You're supposed to wash, bathe, get yourself together. Right. Like you naturally do anyway, you should.
Right.
You naturally do that anyway.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But it don't say nothing about bringing an offering to the priest so he can make an atonement for you. 13 through 15 has to do with an issue that was brought on you because of some type of transgression. And notice that he was put apart 7 days.
Right.
And had to bring an offering after he was healed to the priest so he can make an atonement. But 16 through 18 don't say nothing about that. You see, so I'm just throwing it out there so y'all can watch.
Absolutely. And what it is seeing your shorts with stains in them and you do it again. You try to make yourself think, oh, ain't nothing really wrong. Maybe I strained myself. And you do it again. Now you're spreading contamination because everything the Most High do, there's warning signs. He don't do anything without a warning. He said, I will always make a way for you to escape, transgress. So everything that happens to us come by warning. A lot of times we won't go to the doctor. Why? Because he might tell me something. Don't you want to know that? If something's wrong with you? Don't say nothing. No, don't say nothing. So you don't want to know, but you don't have to tell them they're already feeling it. It's just like when a child reaches the age of accountability, a boy's voice crack. Daddy, we going out to the session. That boy reaching manhood now. And you'll know it when he reaches because he starts smelling his own urine. Want to walk with his chest out like this. You ain't partner, you can put that chest back in the closet. There's one king up in there. And a young female, she gets real tender, and you start calling the aunties, I think it's about time for that girl, it's about time to get that party going. And y'all actually throw a party for that. For a young woman reaching her flower. But all of these are warning signs from the Most High, just like a cold coming on, just like anything else. If you stop it right here, but if you let it get here and it get down in your chest, trouble. But we can ignore it when it's just right here, when you're feeling a little sore right here. That's when you can attack it quickly. But if you negate or neglect and let it get down here and then it get here, then you'll be coughing right here because of the pain, because it's right in that solar plate. You start be coughing. That's when it just got, it hurts so bad now. Can't even cough anymore. Go ahead, brother.
Verse 19. And if a woman have an issue.
If she have a what?
An issue. And her issue in her flesh be blood.
So we're seeing what the issue is telling us what it is. Go ahead.
She shall be put apart 7 days. And whosoever toucheth her shall be unclean until the evening.
Right.
And everything that she lieth upon in her separation shall be unclean. Everything also that she sitteth upon shall be unclean.
So this is a separation, so we know what time of the month this is. This is a separation period. Unclean, so y'all, this is education, so to speak, for everybody, both male and female. So, and everything that she said on, so you have to be careful, but we're going to get into the mental side of this, the conscious side of how you take care of yourself on this. What you got, like?
I remember Rachel was in her time of the month when she stole Laban's
Items.
items.
Yeah.
She refused to search her account.
Right, right. He was searching everything.
Time of her purification.
Yeah, he went to go up under the cover she had because he figured she had stolen them and stashing them up under her. You know how you'll quickly stash something? And he was finna be, she's like, oh, you can't do that, unclean. He snatched them hands back. Okay, y'all go ahead. Go ahead.
Verse 21. And whosoever toucheth her bed shall wash his clothes, and bathe himself in water, and be unclean until the evening.
Right.
And whosoever toucheth anything that she sat upon shall wash his clothes, and bathe himself in water, and be unclean until the evening.
So we see in here that this is only until evening type thing. It's not a thing that where you look at your woman like this, and you looking at her like this. No, get away from her. It's just till evening. And it starts over, y'all. So we understand there's certain language it's going to get into it, tell you when it's totally off limits to even be around her. So it's saying that if you sit on a bed that should be on, so there's still involvement with this going on because it's saying if you happen to sit on the bed. If you were quarantined, ain't no reason for you to be in the quarantine area. So this is telling you this is still amongst the household. But what we do back in the day when they came, you had what you sat on or that was prepared for that to happen that day. If plastic had to be put over, it did. If you drank out a cup, just a cup, you drank out of for the run issue. But this issue of blood, it lets you know the uncleanness. If you touch your woman, it's just to eat. She ain't contaminated. Just because that's happening and you stand off, it's like this, no, get away from me. You're just unclean to eat. He don't make it to the point of where what he put on us, that curse in Genesis 3:16, causes one flesh to split apart once a month to the point of where they can't stand each other, or you look at them like they're paws. Or they look at us like we're paws. So y'all have to understand that when it says just to even, y'all, these are on the low level of something because the evening prayer cleanses all of that. Go ahead, bro.
Verse 23.
What it say?
And if it be on her bed, or on anything whereon she sitteth.
If it be her.
Right, see that?
Or anything whereon she sitteth. When he toucheth it, he shall be unclean until the evening.
Right.
And if any man lie with her at all, and her flowers be upon him, he shall be unclean 7 days.
Uh-oh, now we move into a new level. 7 days for this. Read that again, start that over.
And if any man lie with her at all, and her flowers be upon him, he shall be unclean 7 days, and all the bed whereon he lieth shall be unclean.
So now we're talking about can't contain yourself, or as sometimes things happen, a woman say, hey, you brought it down. No, that was too close. If this brought it down, you already had the warning signs. You felt the tenderness. It may have been already a gap in there, and you're like, well, I ain't gonna lose it. Come on, we still got time. I ain't seen nothing yet. And then point to me, you brought it down. No, you didn't. It was on its way. And you have to be separated. Now you're unclean for 7 days. Now who gonna admit that as a man, or do you just come in here, or you gonna say, well, we ain't seen him in 7 days, what happened? No, so we have to be fair on both sides, y'all. If you know that didn't happen, and there's pink looking in your shorts, you know where you're supposed to be for 7 days. Let's read some more.
Verse 25. And if a woman have an issue of her blood many days out of the time of her separation, or if it run beyond the time of her separation,
right,
all the days of the issue of her uncleanness shall be as the days of her separation. She shall be unclean.
So it's saying if you run over the time, You go 8, 9, 10 days, you have to still count it as like if it was just the number of days that you normally have. These extra days are to be treated just like if they was part of the other days. Something may be going on. Women have changes in their body, just like a man goes through changes. As they get older, you start to get into the point that where you get past your flower. So these changes are coming. It throws things off, but the Most High never does anything without a warning. Even through them times, you may start sweating violently and then get cold and need a blanket. So you still are knowing what's going on with your body. He don't leave us like that because he said, man, you can heal yourself, so you have to know what's going on up here. And you just tell yourself, fix that if it ain't got too far. And you follow different regimens and diets and get that back in order. If you got kidney problems, you may need to start drinking a little bit more water, doing this. Too many Pepsis causes running issues. Go ahead.
Verse 26. Every bed whereon she lieth all the days of her issue shall be unto her as the bed of her separation. And whatsoever she sitteth upon shall be unclean, as the uncleanness of her separation. And whosoever toucheth those things shall be unclean, and shall wash his clothes, and bathe himself in water, and be unclean until the evening.
Right.
But if she be cleansed of her issue, then she shall number to herself 7 days, and after that she shall be clean.
So you're running over the time period. So you still have to number 7 days after you get right back right. You be like, that was 10 days. I ain't never did 10 days before. I did 4, 5, 6 days, but that was 10 days. So you still have to number the cleansing period to make sure ain't nothing lingering around. It's like when a doctor give you medicine, they always give you 5 days extra work to make sure you drive it out. Take these for this many days. Take all of them. They know they'll count on it like 2 weeks, but they give you 2 weeks and a half or 3 weeks worth of medicine to make sure it's driven out of you. So those are the extra days, the same extra days. You just looking and make sure I'm cool before activity starts again. Go ahead, brother.
And on the 8th day she shall take unto her 2 turtles, or 2 young pigeons, and bring them unto the priest to the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. And the priest shall offer the one for a sin offering, and the other for a burnt offering. And the priest shall make an atonement for her before the Most High for the issue of her uncleanness.
Because these extra days could be caused by sin. You know, being angry, being mad. It creates certain things that have to be purged. So, y'all, you have to understand this thing. This is why she's offering something now, because there's extended time. Something may have happened. Something may have happened up here to cause that, to get her back in check. You know better than anybody. And so that's why women, you start to think, man, what I done did. It's a self-checking for you to start to go back. What I did the same way for like the man. Oh, this been going on too long. You have to do some self-reflection and ask what's going on. Or do I spread this to the next person? That's why now they'll give you 20 years in the penitentiary off top for knowingly transmitting diseases. Go ahead, brother.
Verse 31.
What it say?
Thus shall ye separate the children of Israel from their uncleanness, that they die not in their uncleanness.
That they do what?
Die not in their uncleanness, when they defile my tabernacle that is among them. This is the law of him that hath an issue, and of him whose seed goeth from him, and is defiled therewith, and of her that is sick of her flowers, and of him that hath an issue, of the man, and of the woman, and of him that lieth with her that is unclean.
See, and this was called an impurity, because right now we got doctrine out here. What's that? We got doctrine out here now that certain Egyptian rituals, grotesque. Some Egyptian rituals, man, that where they take that cup around that time. In the Egyptology doctrine.
They say the blood of a woman make them like he gods, get them powers.
Drinking medicine.
Yeah. They do it now when they first kill on the animal, they drink the blood, don't they? And talking about it brings them into manhood. You drinking blood that could be contaminated.
Right.
And it's going directly into your stomach. But y'all, these are things that we had to be careful of because it'll bring forth monstrous children if a woman was to conceive while that time of the month. That's an abomination to the Most High. Because that means you so hot in the loins, lasciviousness is eating you alive, you can't even wait. Now look at that, it's been 2 days. You gonna bleed to death. I'm ready to get to work. I gotta drive that truck tomorrow. It's gonna be all right. We got some soap in there. And push off the laws of the Most High. That's an abomination to him to do that. Give me a little bit of Ezekiel 18. Go ahead, man.
Anything, they some rappers.
Tell them about that,
They
man.
rap about what they do during that time of the month. You get too graphic.
Right.
They rap about it.
What's that boy name?
Kevin Gates. Yeah, some of y'all who listen to her, you know what he say he'll do during that time of the month. Pure abomination. Pure abomination.
Give me
He say he throwing down that time of the month. Full plate.
Give me that 18 and 6, bro. 18 and 5, yeah.
Ezekiel,
Verse 4, I'm sorry. Y'all, we're going to the book of Ezekiel. We're coming right back and finish off that Leviticus 15. We're going right to Leviticus 13, y'all. Then we're going to jump into the New Testament, y'all, because we want to hit it from, and then what we want to do, y'all, to make y'all understand unclean ain't always bad because there were animals that were made unclean. But they were made unclean to eat. But they were not unclean because the script says, and it was good when he made it. They were made to clean like pigs are the trash cans of the earth. Shrimp, catfish, and lobsters are the trash cans of the sea. That's a good thing. So they clean all the doo-doo out of the earth and out of the water so you can eat your tilapia, buffalo, and jack salmon. But this is their job. You can't then go grab them and start eating them up and talk about them like you really eat something. You eat out the trash can. Girl, we went down to Red Lobster and I had crabs over here. I had shrimps over here. You talking about eating out the trash can. Where we at? Ezekiel 18 and 4.
Ezekiel chapter 18, verse 4.
What it say?
Behold, all souls are mine.
All what?
All souls are mine.
See, the Most High say all souls are his. What Satan is trying to create now with these robots and flesh won't have a soul. Go ahead.
As the soul of the Father, so also the soul of the Son is mine. The soul that sinneth, it shall die.
What's going to happen?
It shall die.
Right?
But if a man be just and do that which is lawful and right, and have not eaten upon the mountains, neither have lifted up his eyes to the idols of the house of Israel, neither has defiled his neighbor's wife.
Has done what?
Defiled his neighbor's wife.
So you see, y'all, ain't gonna be no turtle dove offering if you defile your neighbor's wife. Right. Because you've made her impure. You've made her an abomination, your neighbor's wife. You see, you use the word defile versus unclean. It's adultery or fornication. Go ahead, brother.
And has not, neither hath come near a menstruous woman.
Had done what?
Come near a menstruous woman.
Uh-huh.
And hath not oppressed any, but hath restored to the debtor his pledge, has spoiled none by violence, hath given his bread to the hungry, and hath covered the naked with a garment.
But I want y'all to just see verse 6 where it says, have not come near. So this is a voluntary action to come near. I don't care nothing about that. I don't care nothing. And y'all, to think about this is when you read like a lot of these sweet boy, gay boys that fool somebody that he a woman, and then tell him, you read, I just told him it was that time of the month. And this individual still attacking. He's still attacking. He's satisfied with knowing blood is just this far away. So he's thinking this is a woman, but this is a he, she boy, and he gonna go up in the rear end that close. This is the mental of lasciviousness and devilment that the Most High said, an adulterous and sinful generation that we're on the brink of Sodom and Gomorrah again. Y'all think about that. So I tell you, no, it's that time and you like, well, something gotta happen. Or at times in the city, something gotta happen. So y'all go back to that Leviticus 13. Did we finish that 15 now? Let's get Leviticus 13 because next I'm gonna go right to the Messiah, dealing with these things that most people will read these and then they're gonna attack the Messiah. He can't be the Messiah because he touched dead bodies. The woman with the issue of 12 years of blood, she touched the hem of his garment. Was he unclean? These are the questions y'all gonna get, so we gotta be prepared to answer those. If you defending the faith. Right. Because what they're trying to do is put stain on the unblemished lamb. That would be stained, wouldn't it? We ain't never said when after the woman touched her with the issue of blood, we just read about it. Did he take 7 days off? Did he tell the disciples, y'all go ahead, I need to chill for 7 days? We're going to get into that, y'all, so we understand. Leviticus chapter 13. This so we don't get leprosy mixed up with vitiligo or different things. They're almost all the same. But one is a light stage, one is a super contagious stage that produces sores, open sores, and scabs. One is just a changing of the skin, like when Moses stuck his hand in his bosom and it came back out white as a leper. But he wasn't defiled. And now y'all have to understand this, he's standing on holy ground. Was he defiled? And he stuck it back in. No, he was just showing them a miracle. Go ahead.
Leviticus chapter 13, verse 1.
Right.
And the Lord spake unto Moses and Aaron, saying, when a man shall have in the skin of his flesh a rising, a scab, or bright spot, and it be in the skin of his flesh, like the plague of leprosy.
Like the what?
Plague of leprosy.
See, so it says like the plague of leprosy. So when you start to get life patches, you need to start to look at that like the plague of leprosy. Starting out the gate, you need to be making sure, because it'll start small and then you end up, it'll be the whole wound. Go ahead.
Then he shall be brought unto Aaron the priest, or unto one of his sons the priest. And the priest shall look on the plague in the skin of the flesh. And when the hair in the plague is turned white, and the plague in the sight be deeper than the skin of his flesh, it is a plague of leprosy. So
it then got down to what we call the white meat. Because it then went below, if the hair turns white, it's below the follicles now. It's in the blood. It's changing the color of the hair. Go ahead.
And the priest shall look on him and pronounce him unclean.
What should he pronounce him?
Unclean.
See, the priest was our doctors, y'all. They can look at him, they looking at him, And see, these are things that were the priest may have had to do this on the Sabbath. Messiah had to do it on the Sabbath. And they profane the Sabbath, they call it because you working. But is that a bad thing? To have to help cure somebody on the Sabbath day, or do you wait till the next day? No, you're gonna have to suffer a little bit. At least for 24 more hours before you come back right here. That's to be like if you went to the hospital now and they just closed the door. No, come back tomorrow. They can't do it. So in like manner, how a priest would have to But the Sabbath is made for man, not man for the Sabbath. So when you get a clear understanding of that, you see these laws, what they happening is, because Satan don't take off, nor the sickness and illness take off, because it's the Sabbath day. Go ahead, brother.
If the bright spot be white in the skin of his flesh, and in sight be not deeper than the skin, and the hair thereof be not turned white, then the priest shall shut up him that had the plague 7 days.
So he's saying right now we just gonna monitor you. You're gonna be put in intensive care for just a minute. We need to see what this is. It ain't went no further. It's like going from stage this cancer to stage 4. Right here is just holding right here. We need to observe this and see if it moves any further. Go ahead.
Verse 5, and the priest shall look on him the 7th day, and behold, if the plague in his sight be at a stay, and the plague spread not in the skin, then the priest shall shut him up 7 days more. And the priest shall look on him again the 7th day, and behold, if the plague be somewhat dark, and the plague spread not in the skin, the priest shall pronounce him clean.
What shall he pronounce him?
He shall pronounce him clean. And it is but a scab, and he shall wash his clothes and be clean.
Y'all see what type of set apart people we were? I'm talking about this is just a scab. I mean, half the children there probably got a scab on their knee from falling off a skateboard or a bike. We didn't have it. But if you knock that scab off and somebody see it, that scab would have to be addressed and looked at and quarantined. If it don't heal, there's a problem. You should have been had a scab by now. So they would look at the thing, and then when it says if it turned brown, usually when anything cut, it turned brown because the blood starts to, what's that word? Yeah, y'all couldn't have said that. But that's how you know things are working well and its system is self-healing itself now. The body is designed to do that. But if it don't, it just lay open, that's a problem. Go ahead, brother.
Verse 7. But if the scab spread much abroad in the skin, after that he hath been seen of the priest for his cleansing, he shall be seen of the priest again. And if the priest see that, behold, the scab spreadeth in the skin, then the priest shall pronounce him unclean, and it is leprosy.
It is what?
Leprosy.
So y'all, those are the ways to determine leprosy before we you know, like you see models out there in TV, the one girl, look, she got spots all over, you know, is there a scab or is she clean? You know, if it starts to turn darker, they have to monitor and see if it starts to move. Sometimes people would turn completely white. I mean, it would overtake the whole skin. You know, is this being the plague of leprosy? So we want to be careful on what we point the finger at and what we call certain things. The doctors or the priests would handle that business, and they wouldn't allow this individual to go around the rest of the people, you know, to contaminate the entire camp. Y'all, that's a problem we have to get straight in our mental of certain things that happen that we contaminate the camp. You cannot contaminate the body, because if you kill the whole body, what's happening next? A funeral, ain't it? That camp dead. That camp don't exist no more. Let's read some more.
Verse 9, when the plague of leprosy is in a man, then he shall be brought unto the priest.
Right.
And the priest shall see him, and behold, if the rising be white in the skin, and it have turned the hair white, and there be quick raw flesh in the rising, it is an old leprosy in the skin of his flesh. And the priest shall pronounce him unclean, and shall not shut him up, for he is unclean.
So he says sometimes it could come back. Y'all know them comeback wounds, so to speak. They're saying he had it, but this one is just kind of coming back. We need to look at him again. You know, why is this reoccurring? Like athletes' feet. They talking about going to the moon and can't cure athletes' feet. I know. Tried everything. Tried some of this stuff, legs off. Walking on hot coals. Pepsi and baking soda, green alcohol and talcum powder. Go away, but it's right back again if your feet are sweating and shoes and they're maybe too tight or they're not breathing like it should. It's gonna be back, knocking at the door again. And you can spread that in every shower. And that will most athlete feet picked up at. Let's get some more.
Verse 12. And if the leprosy break out abroad in the skin, and the leprosy cover all the skin of him that had the plague from his head even to his foot, wheresoever the priest looketh, then the priest shall consider, and behold, if the leprosy have covered all his flesh, he shall pronounce him clean that had the plague, and is all turned white.
Read it again.
Verse 13. Then the priest shall consider, and behold, if the leprosy have covered all his flesh.
So that's full body covering. Full body. You from black to white now. Go ahead.
He shall pronounce him clean that had the plague. It is all turned white. He is clean.
So this is what's happening over in Hamitville, that where they're putting these children to death that look like that. They call them moon children because they can't handle the sun. They can only come out in late evening or at night because the sun will burn them up. They're not plague children. The leprosy is cured. It's just, it's taking away their pigment.
Clean lepers.
Clean lepers. They can dwell amongst you. It says they're clean. So we had to know the difference, that you wouldn't be looking at somebody sideways. Man, look here come this nigga here with that blonde throat. White up. You gonna pass him your beer? You gonna let him drink out his own cups? We had to be careful of that, y'all. Go ahead.
Verse 14. But when raw flesh appeareth in him, he shall be unclean.
What kind of flesh?
Raw flesh.
And y'all know, if y'all ever seen anybody, a heroin addict that scratches, you will see raw flesh.
Yeah.
They will scratch down almost to the bone. I seen it at the barbershop. Man needed $10 to get that thing, and you think I'm lying, he dropped his pants right in the barbershop and showed his leg. I'm talking about, it looked like bullet holes, like a bullet was dug out of there. He like, here man, hurry up, go get what you need, pull your britches back up. Go ahead, bro.
And the priest shall see the raw flesh, and pronounce him to be unclean. For the raw flesh is unclean, it is leprosy. Or if the raw flesh turn again to be changed into white, he shall come unto the priest. And the priest shall see him, and behold, if the plague be turned into white, then the priest shall pronounce him clean that had the plague. He is clean.
So basically, like what happened to Michael Jackson will be considered leprosy, but we can't say that because he rushed it. He went out and bought some cream and bleached himself. The same as Lil' Kim, the same as the rest of us. Sammy Sosa, y'all seen him? I don't know if some of y'all know who Sammy Sosa is. He used to be a Chicago Cubs baseball player. Was in the home run derby with Mark McGuire. But if y'all see him now and the excuse that he made to go from that, I mean even the eyes, and so is T.I.'s wife.
Who is Tiny?
These is the new things to turn yourself into a leper. Bleach yourself out.
Destroy all your melanin.
Destroy all your melanin.
They willingly doing it.
They're paying tens of thousands to do it.
What they paying?
Tens of thousands of dollars to do that.
Let's get some more.
Verse 18. The flesh also, in which even the skin thereof was a boil and is healed.
Was a what?
A boil and is healed.
So y'all know how that's looking. If you see somebody with a ball on them, you stepping back. Because if it busts, you don't want to be nowhere in the vicinity, do you? Huh? Look, you go in somebody's bathroom now, you look at the mirror, you like, man, this is it city. But they just was in there like this. Ha!
Go ahead.
Verse 19. And in the place of the boil, there be a white rising, or a bright spot, white, and somewhat reddish, and it be shown to be priest, and it be showed to the priest.
So we see here just like a zit. Y'all know how it start off and then it's got that white in there and you be almost just want to do it. They let that alone, you're going to make marks in your face. This is the same way leprosy starts. And they put the same bleaching type technique on you that, what is it, proactive? So that's bleaching. It destroys, it's trying to destroy that out and it's changing the dark color to try to blend it back in with the skin, but you need it to be dark. The rest of the skin will catch up to it. But you try to bleach it back out to make it match the other skin. Quick picking. Go ahead.
And if, when the priest seeth it, behold, it be in sight lower than the skin, and the hair thereof be turned white, the priest shall pronounce him unclean. It is a plague of leprosy, broken out of the boil. But if the priest look on it, and behold, there be no white hair therein, and if it be not lower than the skin, but somewhat dark, then the priest shall shut him up 7 days. And if it spread much abroad in the skin, then the priest shall pronounce him unclean. It is a plague. But if the bright spot stay in its place and spread not, it is a burning boil, and the priest shall pronounce him clean. Or if there be any flesh in the skin whereof there is a hot burning, and the quick flesh that burneth have a white bright spot, somewhat reddish or white.
See how it's getting into detail with it, y'all? This is detail. And like the verse before that. What verse is it, bro? 25. Or the flesh in 24, there be a hot burning and the quick flesh. That could be just like you burn your hand on the stove, it instantly blisters up. You know, that's just a burn. You know what I'm saying? Get some butter, cocoa butter, whatever you put on. That's not a disease, you know. Go ahead, bro.
Verse 25. Then the priest shall look upon it, and behold, if the hair in the bright spot be turned white, and it be in sight deeper than the skin, it is a leprosy, broken out of the burning. Wherefore the priest shall pronounce him unclean. It is the plague of leprosy. But if the priest look on it, and behold, there be no white hair in the bright spot, and it be no lower than the other skin, but be somewhat dark, then the priest shall shut him up 7 days.
So we can skip down. I want to just skip down, y'all, for time's sake. Let's skip down to verse 32. And y'all, this is, I tell you what, verse 31. I won't just move around. Y'all read the whole chapter on your own time, because now we're getting into spots of the hair have to be cut off almost like a cancer victim. You know, so a lot of times you may see a woman with her hair shaved off. No, she ain't acting like Amber Rose. You know, she may be going through chemotherapy or something, and the hair have to be shaved off. You have to shave that plague away, because it can lay in the hair follicles. I mean, they can test her for DNA, can't they? Yeah. They can find a small string and tell who it came from. Go ahead, bro. 31.
Verse 31. And if the priest look on the plague of the skull, and behold, it be not in sight deeper than the skin, and that there is no black hair in it.
That there is no what?
Black hair in it. Then the priest shall shut up him that had the plague of the skull 7 days. And in the 7th day the priest shall look on the plague, and behold, if the skull spread not, and there be in it no yellow hair, and the skull be not in sight deeper than the skin, he shall be shaved.
He shall be what?
He shall be shaved. But the skull shall he not shave.
So don't take them clippers too low, because you're going to infect what? The clippers. This is why barbers have all that sanitary stuff. All Hebrew men have what'll cause them, because the hair is coarse on their beard. If you shave it too low, when it grows back again, because it's curly, it'll grow out and grow back into the skin. Now that's foreign to the inside of the skin, and it creates those bumps. And it's called folliculitis barbies. I'm close, but it's that. A lot of times, Hebrews would get shaving waivers in the army and different things. They had to, because that would happen. I'm talking about you have the leather face. You know, I'm talking about where you shave, and the main thing is our people should shave one way. If you're going up have to be, everything has to be up. If you come down, you have to do everything down. You can't go up and down, because it inflames the skin. And when the hair comes out, that's what it do. And you actually have hair follicles growing under the skin. And that's where they made a killing off of tweezers for us. And a needle. Picking it out, picking those hair out, you pluck it out, and that's left over. Green alcohol in. Go ahead, brother.
Verse 33 again. He shall be shaven, but the skull shall he not shave. And the priest shall shut up him that had the skull 7 days more.
So we can hold there, y'all. Y'all read all of that, but jump down to 47 on this. I just want to get into the garments.
Leviticus chapter 13, verse 47.
What it say?
The garment also that the plague of leprosy is in, whether it be a woolen garment or linen garment, whether it be a wart or a woof, or woof of linen, or woolen, whether in a skin or in anything made of skin. And if the plague be greenish or reddish in the garment or in the skin, either the wart or in the wolf or in anything of the skin, it is a plague of leprosy, and shall be shown into the priest.
See, and what happened is those balls, we used to get things back in the day when you slept on dirty sheets. When you played out in the sand, you got tetanus. And if tetanus wasn't addressed immediately and you got them antibiotics, those sores would bust open and they'd be green. I had to go to school with a tetanus cap on. Shame. All it is a cut-up t-shirt sewed like a cap. Nurse was so ashamed he had fashioned one of them skull caps around and had it tucked up on the teacher said, remove your cap. He said, because his was swollen and puffy. But all it was tumbling on them dirty mattresses we got beside the dumpster. Pea stains in them, everything in them. We flipping on them, head in them. 2 days later, tetanus. And it's contagious. And I'm talking about you will have it to the point where pus start flowing out of it. It's so contagious. Go ahead.
Verse 50. And the priest shall look upon the plague, and shut up it that had the plague 7 days.
We can hold up, y'all read the rest of that on your own time. You can look at this Isaiah 56
Hey,
and
also
1.
Dan, chapter 14, going to the cleansing of the lepers as well.
Yes, sir.
If they want to read chapter 14, and when you get down to verse 33, you go into the leprosy of the houses, which you know today is mold.
Oh, yes, sir.
Mold.
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry, black mold, because of water running, form black mold, that's called leprosy of the house. Priests that come empty the house out, come look at it and determine like how far along it is.
Absolutely.
Some of that mold will keep it.
It's contaminated.
You have to cut the walls out and get the fiber.
The flood victims have to do that. That's why they don't try to fix that up. When that water, you see it on the drywall right there, that has to come out. You have to cut all of that out because you breathe mold spores. That contamination to get inside you and eat you up from the inside out.
Y'all read that chapter 14 as well.
And also chapter 12, it talks about childbirth and the difference in how you should be set apart unclean for a boy child 40 days, for a girl child 80 days of separation.
Yeah.
And this is the same thing you read earlier in some earlier writings about how the earth itself was done like that. How they didn't till it for 80 days and different things. So y'all, it all lines up, but y'all, this is our life manual. Like you have that manual in your glove box, when something go on, you flip right to the index and right here, the fuse is blown in radio. Go to chapter 2. This is what we have to do with this about our life. But it's not being taught like that in Sunday doctrine. Nope. All it is they read a few to try to make you feel good, to change your thought process. But there's no instructions with it. Because they don't look at it as law. This is law, y'all. If you get this, you can't spread this contamination to everybody. You just can't be sitting in here full of the heebie-jeebies and ain't told nobody.
Right, you can show up, right? Excuse yourself.
Right.
Get yourself together before you come back. You have that much love for the body.
Right.
Instead of coming down here and being that selfish and infecting everybody. Right? You unclean or contaminated, get yourself together. Then come on back down. My mind ain't nobody checking. Like, we don't know y'all personal lives and what time of the month it is for a woman, or the brother had a nocturnal emission last night. We don't know none of that.
Did that black light kid come in yet? Because we was going to start that on the table. Everybody can turn it on. It wouldn't be nothing in here but children. Well, go ahead and finish this song, man. Okay, let's see this Isaiah 56 and 1, y'all, because a lot of times certain laws that we're reading about don't apply to certain people. They apply, but they're not expedient. Like, beard laws don't apply to me. Beard laws apply to Zay, Ariel, Yaqui, and whoever else got a beard out here. Beard laws apply to you. But they told me to cut my mustache off in 1980, and this is what I got back. So that don't apply to me. So in like manner, certain things we're going to read about certain people of these cleansing laws, they don't apply, but it don't make you push them into the unclean section. Because this event may be happening to them. And there's certain issues that commandments, be fruitful and multiply. What happens if you can't? What does that make you? Does that make you unclean until you go to the grave? Let's read a little bit of this Isaiah 56 and 1 going down for a couple verses.
Book of Isaiah.
What's up?
Chapter 56.
Okay. What? Okay.
Book of Isaiah, chapter 56, verse 1. Thus said the Lord, keep ye judgment and do justice, for my salvation is near to come, and my righteousness to be revealed.
And what?
And my righteousness to be revealed. Blessed is the man that doeth this, and the son of man that layeth hold on it, that keepeth the Sabbath from polluting.
From doing what?
From polluting.
Right.
And keepeth his hand from doing any evil. Neither let the son of the stranger that have joined himself to the Lord speak, saying, the Lord hath utterly separated me from his people. Neither let the eunuch say, behold, I am a dry tree.
See, so because you're under one law, a stranger, meaning somebody of another nation, they're not to look and say, well, Lord, I'm just not part of them. You are part of them because you're part of a covenant.
Right.
You know, and there's laws that prevent us from the stranger that's amongst us, that's keeping the law probably better than most of us would. Just like the Messiah said, he ain't seen an Israelite yet to keep the law, like this one Roman had said. So a stranger, if he amongst us, he can't feel or to be made to feel like he's still an outcast. It's to the Jew first and the Gentile. Yeah, he knows what the promises are because they're prophecy. But he should never feel like, well, I ain't never part of Israel in that sense. You are part of Israel spiritually, because this ain't about the color of flesh. And you know why? With the leprosy turning us white and you cured, you'll be casting out your own people. Man, that's Earl's son from the car shop, man. He had leprosy, but he been cleansed whole. He's just white now. So y'all, we want to be careful with that. Go ahead, bro.
What about the Gentiles that come into the covenant and then do what they want to do?
Do what now?
The Gentiles that come into the covenant with us and then do what they want to do.
No, they can't do what they want to do.
No, but they call themselves doing it.
What covenant they in? They ain't in this covenant.
They call it here, they in the covenant with the Jews now.
Oh, well, you talking about Judaism, but we're talking about the true covenant here.
Right.
This gospel right here. They're into the Talmud and the Kabbalah. And they're into Sunday worship that allows them that where they think it's all spiritual Israel. Like, we got groups out here like 7-Day Adventists and different things. They don't look at the full covenant that can't change. That covenant that was given to Abraham in Genesis 15 chapter when the calf was split. That's a blood covenant. That ain't gonna never change. That's in our DNA. That was a DNA covenant given to us. That's that sacrifice of the calf split in half, and the Most High walked between it. And he ordained it. He said, I'll never turn my back on this covenant, ever. See, we read a lot about the covenant in the 12th chapter, but that 15 is very, very, very important as far as the blood is concerned. That's why we can't be miscegenated out. I don't care who we make with. Chinese, Japanese, Hamites, Africans, whoever's on the planet, they turn into us. Because that's the blood covenant. They keep us from being wiped out as a people. They done tried it 3 times. They tried it in Egypt, the times before that. They tried it when the Messiah was born. And then they're going to try it again. They tried it now in Planned Parenthood in every neighborhood, trying to wipe us out. Trying to wipe out the male, kill all the male. If we have leper women, you'll take them over. And maybe we can get rid of Israel. But y'all, those things will never exist because of the blood covenant. We got 2 scriptures that let us know it will never happen on both sides. That Leviticus 24:10 and Acts 16:1. That were a Hebrew sister, and it lists her whole lineage from the tribe of Dan, had a baby by an Egyptian. And they dealt with that son as a Hebrew child. And the same thing in Acts 16:1 when Timothy, shalom y'all, whose mother was a Hebrew and father was a Greek, but they dealt with it with Israelite law. Same thing Thomas Jefferson did when he had Sally Hemings. You got to go back down to the slave quarter and them chillings. They don't get no inheritance now, do they? So y'all, I don't care who we mate with, it dominates every other race off the planet. This is the real reason they hate it so bad. So y'all, we're without understanding of who we are and that blood covenant that we have that dominates. I don't care who it prevents us from being miscegenated out, or they that took us out in Egypt. They that took us out here, because all they do is kill all the men and just have baby by the women. Israel done at that point, ain't it? This stops that doctrine from saying the seed can only come from the father. But everywhere we read in the scripture, Genesis 46, Genesis 3 about Genesis 5, Adam's seed, it talks about offspring, both sons and daughters. It mentioned both. That's the seed. If you try to make it one person, hell, none of us can tell 3 generations. Now, how we know Master wasn't in the house?
That's right.
Who can prove Master wasn't in there? Come out pulling up his suspenders. And it was the same way in Egypt. They was raping. The same way. You get into some of this, 78th chapter of this, when Moses killed that man, that Egyptian in the city, it was because he had came to that man's house, raped his woman in front of him, and then started pounding him across the head, was going to strangle him out because he was going to tell him. Moses ended up killing that Egyptian. These Edomites learned their captivity from black folks, from the Egyptians, of what to do. That's why Moses killed him and buried him under sand. But we had a bootlicker that 2 Hebrews fighting again, he'd break them up. Oh, you gonna kill me like you did that Egyptian? Be like, oh, this thing, no, I got to get ghosts. So y'all, we see ain't nothing different about the color. It ain't about color. It's about that blood covenant. Because if it's about color, we'd be in a black power movement like they trying to get us into now. Pan-Africanism. That sounds like some dish at a Rag joint, don't it? Pan-Africanism. The hell is that? Yeah, absolutely. So where we at? It's more than 56. Y'all, we ain't got long, about 30 minutes, y'all. Go ahead.
Verse 4.
What it say?
For thus said the Lord unto the eunuchs.
Unto the who?
Unto the eunuchs.
Right.
That keep my Sabbaths and choose the things that please me and take hold of my covenant.
And take hold of my covenant. What was the Messiah? He practiced spiritual eunuchism. And Paul. So were they violating commands to be fruitful and multiply? Should the Messiah have been fruitful and multiplying? He was fruitful supernatural because everybody on this doctrine worldwide is off of that doctrine. So this is why we get back to the 2 seeds that was planted in Eve was supernatural seeds that produce offspring, all of y'all in here now. From doctrine, from gospel, from knowing right and wrong. That's the production. Satan got his seed in there too. Where them demonic beings crossed over, them giants, the spirits of them. And that's what drives you crazy. If you get into Enoch, the 15th chapter, you see what happened to the giants. The giants didn't cross over, but their spirits crossed over because they were half supernatural angels and flesh of men. The flesh died out, but the spirits crossed over. That's what had Saul going crazy. Look at David killed Goliath. You know they singing about it. David had killed his 10,000, Saul killed his 1,000. How you gonna stand for that? You the king. Donald Trump wouldn't stand for that. Throw a javelin at David, and David like, man. That's what music soothes a savage beast. And he would play that spirit out of him. Now, is that witchcraft? No, it's certain things, y'all. So when you see certain things that the Messiah is doing and somebody say, well, that right there, that's witchcraft. Say, well, what was David doing playing that harp and driving evil spirits away? What about Urim and Thummim that the priest was using? So y'all, we have to be careful that what's clean goes to unclean. When you start using a Ouija board, it's unclean because now you're communicating with the dark side. You're not communicating with the Most High. Why you want to know if Earl coming back? Ask them for the Powerball numbers and watch Earl show up tomorrow. Just like a parent that show up when his son is a basketball star and get drafted. The other ones show up, don't they? When the riches come on the table, they show up, but we asking simple things on that dark side. And you open portals up for that against the writing because it's a mirror imitation of what we're doing. Satan is just demanding that you use it to worship him. Where we at? 56 and what?
5.
Okay.
Even unto them will I give in my house and within my walls a place, and a name better than of sons and of daughters. I will give them an everlasting name that shall not be cut off. Also, the sons of the strangers that join themselves to the Lord to serve him, and to love the name of the Lord, and to be his servants. Everyone that keepeth the Sabbath from polluting it, and taketh hold of my covenant, even them will I bring to my holy mountain, and make them joyful in my house of prayer. Their burnt offerings and their sacrifice shall be accepted upon my altar. And my house shall be called a house of prayer for all people. The Lord God which gathered the outcasts of Israel said it. Yet will I gather others to him beside those that are gathered unto him. All ye beasts of the field, come devour. Yeah, all ye beasts in the forest. His watchmen are blind. They are all ignorant. They are all dumb dogs. They cannot bark. Sleeping, lying down, loving to slumber. Yeah, they are greedy dogs, which can never have enough. And they are shepherds that cannot understand. They all look to their own way, every one for his gain from his quarter. Come ye, say they, I will fetch wine. I will fill ourselves with strong drinks. And tomorrow shall be as this day, and much more abundant.
So those are the rogue priests, but what I was talking about is the stranger that amongst us, you have to judge fairly among them. There's a lot of Israelite groups out here that strangers are keeping, like, man, I did a good lesson on Uriah the Hittite. And his loyalty was above every Israelite at that time. It was above David, It was above Joab, his captain. It was above Bathsheba, what he did and how he served the Lord of the Hamite nation. So we have to judge accordingly. And we can't let no outsider judge our strangers. It's lawful that, what that Deuteronomy 23, hit that for me, that one verse.
Deuteronomy 10.
Deuteronomy 10, what?
16.
16 through 18. And it's just something that we have to understand, because if you don't, it says, curse be the man. Hit that for me, y'all. We're gonna move on. Just got a couple more scripts here, y'all. We're gonna get out of here. But I want to get into the uncleanness of the food. And y'all, we're gonna close out and just hit a couple of them aside. And what makes you clean mentally down, what washes us clean until evening.
Deuteronomy chapter 10, verse 16.
Yeah, 16.
Yo, this is something very important, y'all, because you will have some people that try to make you feel like, you know, okay, if they are amongst us, then we're going to be whooping their rear end. I'm stringing up Billy as soon as he get through serving Kool-Aid.
Look, the same cats got them amongst them right now.
Right.
Until you Chuck Norris is an Israelite. But you come down here and see somebody with another nation, your nose turned up. You got him standing next to you on the streets, Chuck Norris. Chuck Norris is an Israelite now. Bruce Lee is an Israelite. Who else they said was an Israelite? John Travolta, because he was dancing, how he was dancing in Greece. He only an Israelite can dance like that. Not knowing that he had a choreographer. Showing my
Right.
And everybody's an Israelite now. Y'all gotta watch that, man. That's another doctrine that's out there.
Now, who's saying that?
Everybody's an Israelite.
The alphabet camps out of New York.
Yeah.
And they saying that.
They say Chuck Norris is one because Chuck Norris claiming to have some type of ancestry on down the line or whatever. But you turn your nose up to see somebody amongst us that's down hard down the truth. So at the same time, they throwing shade, but you got somebody that looks just like Chuck Norris standing right next to you. But he must be an Israelite because he understands the truth. That's what they saying. Like, can't nobody else understand the Bible but Israelites. So even if they look like Conor McGregor and he understands the Bible, then he must be an Israelite. But that's their logic.
Right.
You feel me? Instead of just like, come on, man. Instead of saying, look, this is somebody with another nation that understands the truth. It's just what it is.
It's just what it is.
And there's many examples in the Old and New Testament that show you that. Many examples. Where you at? I can't do one.
Deuteronomy chapter 10, and start at verse 15.
Chuck Norris. Look, and they just talking about how quick they are with their hands and weapons. But they all have training, y'all. Like most dancers, Elvis, when you look back, who he got his moves from was a brother that taught him how to swivel hips like that.
Yeah, Elvis is Israelite too.
They actually got it from a woman, Sister Rosetta Law.
That's who taught him how to move across the stage like that.
Him and his friend used to sneak in the back of the church and watch her perform. And so he used to record her moves and her guitar licks. But her name was Sister Rosetta Law.
Now he the king. Y'all see that? All of it from us because we have to dance and praise. In that blood is something called rhythm. It ain't in nobody else. It's automatic with us. That baby right there start dancing and doing moves. It's in there. It's rhythm in there. They said, you guys have so much rhythm. That's in the DNA, as well as speed, as well as thought process. All of that came with that blood covenant to show the rest of the world who Israel is. Because we'll be wiped out. Let me just read this to y'all. We're going to move on because we ain't got but a few minutes. This is from George Orwell. Y'all know he did the day America got attacked by aliens, particular matters. The most effective way to destroy people is to deny and obliterate their own understanding of their history. And that's done every Sunday. They obliterate your history. He say that's the most effective way to do it. Teach them that they're reading about themselves, but make them think it's somebody else. How can you read what you see and hear of special people and the things that these people are doing? Running at speed, Judah outrunning a hind and leaping up and grabbing this fruit out of a tree, and Naphtali running across corn stalks like Usain Bolt. Ben Carson working on a brain, but they got him obliterated to where he think he's a white nationalist now. He said when he moved to Virginia, they put up a Confederate flag. He said, I oppose him, and when they got the stars and stripes and stuck it out there. Maxine Waters said he crazy as hell. A brain surgeon, but don't have common sense. Crazy. Where we at?
Deuteronomy chapter 10, verse 15.
What it say?
Only the Lord hath a delight in thy fathers to love them. And he chose their seeds after them.
He chose what?
Their seeds after them. Even you above all people, as it is this day. Circumcise therefore the foreskin of your heart. Wow. And be no more stiff-necked. For the Lord your God is a God of gods, the Lord of lords, a great God, a mighty and terrible, which regardeth not persons, nor taketh reward. He doth execute the judgment of the fatherless and widow, and loveth the stranger, in giving him food and raiment. Love ye therefore the stranger, for ye were strangers in the land of Egypt.
Is that it? Yeah, so when we say what is love? Keeping the commandments. So you have to deal with a stranger according to the commandment. Ain't no other thing talking about he ain't black enough or he ain't white enough or he ain't this. According to the commandments of the stranger. You go outside of that, curse be the man. That go outside of the law of how to treat a stranger that loves your God like you do. Don't mean he gonna leapfrog against you. The rules are there in Romans 11 chapter. If the wild olive branch boasts against the natural branch, he'll be checked immediately. They know where their place is at. We just don't know where their place is at. Where we at? No, we're gonna hold y'all, just get into just a little bit of the uncleanness in the food. Genesis 1:24 and 25. And then I want to hit Exodus 26:14 and Ezekiel 16 and 10. So we get the understanding of just because it's called unclean, don't mean it's defiled. It has a purpose. Everything the Most High made had a purpose. Or you're going to run into issues if you saying like you can't play, quarterbacks shouldn't play football because they use a pig skin. Where in the law is it say you can't touch a pig skin? It says you can't touch his carcass to do what? To eat it. It ain't saying you couldn't make a pair of sandals out of it.
Had the skin on the cover.
We're going to read that. That's what we're into. Coming up next, bro. You want that? So we're going to hit, after we hit this, Genesis 1:24-25, Exodus 26:14, and Ezekiel 16 and 10. Exodus 26 and 14.
We're in the book of Genesis, chapter 1, verse 24. I'll wait till y'all get back.
Then I want to hit that, to wind this up, and we'll hit a couple on the side, that Job 14 and 4. Because who can make a clean thing out of an unclean thing? Y'all, we have to be careful on what we make unclean clean. You ain't gonna never be able to make pig delectable. Is that a word?
Yeah. It actually is a word.
It's like, why do we hide chitlins from other people? Y'all put chitlins around here, I can smell it. It smells like a dump in here.
How can you hide that smell?
Right. No, ain't no more left. You are actually hiding abomination, which technically is a good thing. But you're hiding it from them because you get a 10-pound bucket and you only get a salsa full. Something wrong with that off the top. Twin, you had something earlier. What was on your mind?
I'm getting those two scriptures you're talking about.
about the Israelite daughters carrying the power through the blood? That's Leviticus 24:10 and Acts 16:1. Y'all, and it goes into her whole lineage. How often does the Bible speak of a woman's lineage? Unless it wants you to really understand something.
Yeah.
And y'all, we even tried to split the calf covenant, and that's a covenant you make when you say my word is my bond. We did that in the book of Jeremiah, the priests, and they broke every vow they made and split the calf. Cut it in. Yeah, this the real deal here. It's almost like how when we was young, you used to become blood brothers, you know, and do your arm like that or something. David and Jonathan made a covenant like that, of splitting the calf. But our priests did that and broke every vow they made. It's the only reason the Most High won't go back or repent on that promise he made to us. It's got to fulfill itself and go to the end.
I think what Abraham.
Yes, sir. Where we at?
We in book of Genesis chapter 1 verse 24.
Y'all, we're going to speed through these last scripts, y'all. Right about 3:40. We're going to close out about 4 o'clock.
And God said, let the earth bring forth the living creature after his kind, cattle and creepy thing, and beast of the earth after his kind. And it was so. And God made the beasts of the earth after his kind, and cattle after their kind, and everything that creepeth upon the earth after his kind. And God saw that it was good.
So that it was what?
It was good.
See, these creeping things in Leviticus say we're not to eat creeping things. We can't eat beetles because they technically crawl on the ground. Some of y'all may not like this, but you can eat grasshoppers. That's what John the Baptist's favorite was for a snack.
Full of protein.
Full of what?
Full of protein.
Go ahead, read some more, brother.
And God said, let us make man in our image, after our likeness. And let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creepy thing that creepeth upon the earth. So God created man in his own image. The image of God created he him. Male and female created he them. And God blessed them. And God said unto them, be fruitful and multiply, and replenish the earth, and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over every living thing that moveth upon the earth.
So we see we got our instructions about even unclean animals, and it was good because they had a purpose. Now, it's a doctrine running around here, you know, that this man was a caveman. And he was to involve into something and say, well, how did he get on the ark? Well, look, the problem is if you put him on the ark as a beast, you still got a problem because you only got one pair.
Yeah.
According to Genesis 9 and Genesis 7, bring him on the ark. 2 pair of the unclean. So there was 2 pigs, male, and 2 pigs, female, and 7 pairs of the clean. So there was 7 deer, 7 goats, male and female. So if this person got on a Japheth, they owe you another pair of a beast. If they say it was a beast that got on the ark or an animal, they owe you another pair because they're saying it's unclean. They owe you another pair. So that comes down to either Noah, his wife, Shem and his wife, or Japheth and his wife. They got, not Japheth, but Ham and his wife. They got to make up their mind what they're talking about here. You can't have it both ways. You can't break the law of God to make your opinion stand. Give us the other unclean beast on the ark, man beast, a Neanderthal. Give us the other one.
Can't do it.
And then you're playing fair in your determination of what that scripture is saying. But if you do one and you just go left field with it, shame on you. You're chasing somebody else's doctrine. Charles Darwin, that's what you chase. And look, Charles Darwin said, yeah, everybody came from monkeys. See, they say they came from monkeys. They also say we came from monkeys. But we are the lower species of that monkey. We are the part that ran down the monkey's leg after he got through with his woman. We're the lower species of it.
That's what they call it, though. They call it the Charles Darwin theory.
Yeah.
It's not the Charles Darwin fact, it's an opinion.
Can't be proven.
It can't be proven.
At all.
So y'all, we went there just to show you that unclean animals are made clean for, not made clean, but they're used for a reason, for the good of the Most High to do some things. So back this up with Exodus 26:14. We're going to hit a couple quick one-liners, y'all. We're going to be long. We're going to close out at 4.
We in Exodus 26, verse 14. I'll wait till y'all get that.
Y'all write this down too about the 9th hour, Acts chapter 3, verse 1, the most prominent time to pray. Prayer is good all the time, but we had ordained prayer time. Like Acts 3 and 1, and also Matthew 27:45, when the Messiah prayed and gave up the ghost. You know, at that time, the hour of prayer. Yeah. And y'all just think, 12 hours later, Satan rules that time in your dreams, because now you're in another realm, so to speak. And he shows up to see if your prayer game like it should be in the 4th watch of the night. Because there's watches in the night that the Messiah prayed in. Your game got to be up. You just can't sin because you sleep and think ain't nothing gonna happen. We just so lost for dreaming about the things you ain't supposed to do, and you let loose.
Like you were saying, Dad, that's when you really inside your spiritual realm.
Yes, sir.
When you sleep, your soul leaving your body. That's why you wake up and you thank the Lord for what? Thank you for putting my soul back in my body.
Yes, sir.
So them sins be real sins because you committed in the spiritual realm. Makes sense?
And y'all, that's why you be so tired if you've been on one of them long journeys, or what they call an out-of-body experience.
Yes.
When you come back into your flesh, you are weak. And they have to feed you the same way the Messiah, 40 days and 40 nights. And when the devil tempted him, and then immediately angels start ministering, bringing them bread and water and things to strengthen the flesh back up. When you go into the spiritual journey, because basically you got high octane running right now. Normally your flesh running off of, what's the lowest grade, 87?
Yeah, 87.
Then you got that mid-grade, 89. You're running off of full premium, high octane when you into the spirit like that. And then you have to bring it back down into this, and this flesh ain't ready to handle it until you give it the protein it needs to build back up to handle that high octane of the Holy Spirit. And that's what Satan wants you to do. If y'all think you can't blaspheme the Holy Spirit in your sleep, when you see somebody, he died in his sleep, Satan will attack and kill you in your sleep. And you think he died so peacefully, how you know?
Thousands die they sleep at night. Look it up. Thousands die they sleep at night.
What you got, bro?
What's the night hour in our time?
2 p.m. to 2:59.
Yeah.
2 p.m.?
Yeah. To 2:59. When it hit 3 p.m., we into the 10th hour of the day. Because then that's 3 to 4, 10, 4 to 5, 11, 5 to what?
Then 5 to 6, 12.
12, and you start, now you back to the beginning where you started.
They'll have a 24-hour period day. It started 6. I'll just move in 6s. 6 to 12, 12, you know what I'm saying? 12, just keep doing it in 6s. And then it consists of 24 hours. That's all started at 6 o'clock.
Yes, sir. Let's get it. Where we at? Let's get these real quick. Exodus 26:14.
Yeah, Exodus 26, verse 14.
Right.
It says, and thou shalt put the staves into the...
Hold on, everybody there yet?
That ain't it?
No, that ain't it.
My bad.
Hold on.
No, I'm wrong.
Oh, okay.
25. Exodus 26 and 14. And thou shalt make a covering for the tent of ram skin.
Of what kind of skin?
Ram skin. Dyed red. And a covering above badger skin.
And a what?
A covering of badger skin.
And
thou shalt make boards of the tabernacle of shittim wood, standing up. 10 cubits shall be the length of the board, and a cubit and a half shall be the breadth of one board. Two tendons shall there be in one board, set in order one against another. Thus shall thou make for all the boards of the tabernacle.
So what was happening is here, they're building the tabernacle for the Ark of the Covenant. And badger skin is in there. Where's the badger from? What family? The what? The weasel. What is the weasel family doing around the most holy Ark of the Covenant?
Waterproof covering.
See, so y'all, this is why certain things were made for good, and you just can't look at something and say that's all bad. That's all bad. That can't be around nothing. They had their purpose. This is waterproof.
Yeah.
In case it stormed, the Ark of the Covenant would be protected by badger skin. Badger skin is so thick and waterproof that they kill rattlesnakes.
Well, damn, leeches.
And
Leeches are unclean, but boy, they suck every unclean parasite out your bloodstream.
Yes, sir.
So it's unclean, but it's good when you unhealthy. It's good for you.
They put it on you to heal things. They put those, what do we call them? Leeches all over you. And you wouldn't dare think about that, but you can't have no leech soup.
Nah, you sure can.
Ain't no leech soup in potatoes. It's for the mission that it has. Sucking blood only. Let's hit that Ezekiel 16 and 10, and y'all, we're going to see how the Most High dressed out Israel. Because we read a scripture earlier in the 2:10, women ordain themselves in modest apparel. It don't mean you can't dress up. It's just saying if you use all that to dress up to trap a man, you're wasting your time. Because when you pull all that to lay it over to the side, then it's you. You can't take all that to you in the side. Be just like that woman and I'm gonna get you sucked. She pulled off it. If y'all ain't never saw it. So y'all, we want to be extra careful, y'all, that we don't get into the doctrine of exclusion. The Most High is trying to include everybody that will adhere to his laws, statutes, and judgments. To Israel first, to the Jew first, and then the Gentile. Tribulation and anguish and torment to the Jew first, and then the Gentile. So the flip side is still the same. So everything you read about in here, you read from an Israelite perspective first, and then also allowing somebody from another nation to take hold of it. But we got groups out here don't want nobody, and all it is black supremacy. It's just like white supremacy.
We should know what's standing next to him.
Right. But see, instead of saying he's from another nation, they got to make him an Israelite like they do Cornelius.
Ain't none of them rocking like the Black Panthers or nothing like that.
Right.
Stop. Anybody that somewhat look like another nation, he must be spiritually be an Israelite. So they not even rocking with black nationalistic mindset. He's like, well, how are you talking that when you got Chuck Norris standing like that?
Right.
That's your Calvin right there. It don't even make sense.
It don't make sense, y'all. And we cannot be, y'all, bewitched with those type of doctrines of exclusion. And the reason being, y'all, the problem we have is because you're only going to exclude white people. And you don't understand our tormentors were dark-skinned from getting off the boat. Who got control of the land of Canaan till Esau took it from them? But they over there, well, Ishmael and them battling now for it. But all of Leviticus 18 on up is saying don't be like the Canaanites. Them ain't white folks. What you got, Elijah?
No, I was just going to say that before the transatlantic slave trade, the Islamic slave trade was even greater.
Yeah.
They were forcing, just like they were forcing Christianity on slaves over here, they were forcing Islam on slaves, on Israelite slaves over there.
And they do it in the penitentiary. They'll lessen your time if you join the Muslim organization versus a Hebrew Israelite. You a what? Did I hear you clearly? Or you a Muslim following the moon god Allah? No, I'm a Hebrew Israelite. Give him the whole. Give him 30 days and bring him back. Let's see what he thinks.
A friend of mine said that the only religion that can't be taught in the prison that he's in is being Israel. But they have someone to teach every religion under the sun in there, except for Israel. Everybody that was teaching the nation of Israel were excommunicated, told to step down.
Yeah, it is. Let's start here, y'all, this Ezekiel 10, because I just want to hit again of an unclean item that we were rocking, y'all, and it ain't no coincidence, y'all, that, and look, we don't even think about it when we talking about ourselves. Now, don't none of us look at gators as unclean. But if you got them on your feet, you're showing them off, ain't you? Walking pigeon toe. Just out here just chilling a little bit pigeon toe. You know, and talking like this, so you look down. And the clown lay the gators on. Dangerous animals, we always wore lizards, gators, snakes. Pigeon toe. Let's get it, y'all. Where we at? Ezekiel 16. Let's get 8. Let's start at 8. And this is where the Most High married us, the nation of Israel. And we'll see how he had us decked out. So you get a clearer understanding when he's saying, don't wear the goat's hair of modest apparel, not overdoing it. You got bling all over your arms and all of this because we have to look at what did Abraham's servant take to and gave to Rebecca. Gave all gifts to her brothers, her family. That one bracelet weighed 17 shekels of gold. Now y'all Google the weight of 17 shekels of gold and see how much that bracelet costs. So it's not telling you that you have to be just plain Jane with just a old shirt on with no collar on it, and and men, you just got some pants with no belts in them. You just tied a rope around them. You're trying to look like you're nothing. No, the script don't tell you we were that people, y'all. The world took its examples from us. We taught them how to dress. We taught them what to look for. They want everything about us except the curse that we're living under. We're not a cursed people. We're just under a curse for disobedience. Go ahead, Mark.
The problem is we put more time to our outer cup than our inside, spiritually. Like if you bling on the outside, you can be 100 times more brighter from the inside.
Yes, sir.
So we ain't never saying you gotta look ashy.
Right.
And like that. But make sure your insides is right. You understand? If you're stepping out blinging. Other than that, you just a walking breeze.
That's it. Beautiful on the outside, just like Jefferson Barracks. Look, you look at all them white headstones, they look so pretty, don't they? What's underneath? Okay, good. Y'all understand what's in the grave. Go ahead, bro. Y'all, we're gonna close out. We got a couple more, y'all gonna close on out. Go ahead.
Reading in the book of Ezekiel, chapter 16, verse 8. Now when I passed by thee and looked upon thee, behold, thy time was the time of love, and I spread my skirt over thee,
right,
and covered thy nakedness. Yea, I swear unto thee, and entered into a covenant with thee, saith the Most High Yah, and thou becamest mine.
Y'all see what the Most High did? How he did? He looked on us, spread his skirt over us, he claimed us.
Right.
His garment over us, a protection over us. He said, when the time of love, if you back it up a little bit more, he said, he waited till we matured into this people, and that's our walk through the wilderness. So in like manner, we should look at it like when we going into a marriage covenant with a woman. You got to groom this thing and get it right, and then you spread your covering over and you say, yeah, I believe we can be one flesh now. Maybe a few bumps in the road, but we can be one after this, and I spread my covering over you. So he's walking us through the same manner. Go ahead, bro.
Then washed I thee with water.
What'd he do?
Washed I thee with water. Yea, I thoroughly washed away thy blood from thee, and I anointed thee with oil. I clothed thee also with broidered work, and shod thee with badger skin.
What does shod mean? And what are they at? What is shod? Shod is shoes. Badger skin. You can look up Timberlands, but look up badger skin boots. They sail the most. They're waterproof. You can walk through puddles or anything and feet be dry as the Sahara. I shod you in badger skin. Shoes. See, the Most High had us decked out. Go ahead, bro, read some more.
And I girded thee about with fine linen.
With what?
Fine linen. And I covered thee with silk.
Y'all see how we dressed up?
Clean.
Lean man's on gators and a nickname. Go ahead, keep reading. Go ahead.
Verse 11. I decked thee also with ornaments, and I put bracelets upon thy hands, and a chain on thy neck. And I put a jewel on thy forehead, and earrings in thine ears, and a beautiful crown upon thine head. Thus was thou decked with gold and silver, and thy raiment was of fine linen, and silk, and broidered work. Thou didst eat fine flour, and honey, and oil, and thou wast exceeding beautiful, and thou didst prosper into a kingdom. And thy renown went forth among the heathen for thy beauty.
For thy what?
For thy beauty.
This is where, now we've been women wearing braids all the time, but until Bo Derek wore them, now they on the scene. She running across the beach with braids. They never had them till we had them. Lip injections they get. They want the full lips instead of the thin fish lips. Soup noodles. Yeah. A soup noodle. You know. I'm talking about, y'all know what soup noodle, because they said our lips were so big we could cool off soup 10 degrees with 2 clothes.
Well, like one single piece.
Soup noodles. Go ahead, brother. And they want the big rear ends, all the whole 9. But they go into a mechanical side of it and inject it. I mean, to the point where they injecting, what is that, caulking? That you caulk around the tub in there. Silicone. No, they doing that now.
Some of that.
And look, Kim, I mean, everything she got up here, she didn't have to do.
She's a monstrosity.
What else they say, y'all? Read a couple more verses of that, y'all. We're going to get ready to get out of here.
For it was perfect through my comeliness.
What was it?
It was perfect through my comeliness, which I had put upon thee, saith the Most High Yah.
Now here our problem is.
But thou didst trust in thine own beauty, and playest the harlot because of thy renown, and pourest out thy fornications on every one that passed by. His it was. And of thy garments thou didst take, and deckest thy high places with diverse colors, and playest the harlot thereupon. The like thing shall not come, neither shall it be
So y'all can read the rest of that, but y'all see how we fail and start using how we was decked out to our own lust and beauty.
Right.
It's a mirror image of what happened. You want to keep on?
If we jump down 24 and 34.
Yes, sir.
Verse 24. That thou hast also built unto thee an eminent place, and hast made thee an high place in every street.
Every street. You know them days of churches on every corner?
Yes, sir.
An eminent high place or a place of worship. You know them as the churches or the mosques, but what else is there?
Thou hast built thy high place at every head of the way, and hast made thy beauty to be abhorred.
To be what?
To be abhorred.
Them damn niggas. Y'all, do y'all know this is what this Civil War in America is about? Them damn niggas. Because they don't look at us as being decked out anymore. All you keep hearing is Black Lives Matter, but this is the same war that happened in 1863. About who? It's about Israel. That's what it's coming down to. We want it back the way it was, where you had to look down when they walked by. Yes, sir. To a 5-year-old son. You look down. He woke up, you look down. What a 5-year-old look like telling an adult something like that. You eyeballing me messed up? No, sir. No, sir. Go ahead, brother.
And hast opened thy feet to every one that passed by, and multiply thy hoarding.
Y'all see that? Open their feet. Y'all know what it means when you open your feet? Spread them apart.
You talking to the nation of Israel, called the Lord.
To every nation that passed by.
Thou hast also committed fornication with the Egyptians, thy neighbors, great of flesh, and hast increased thy hoardings to provoke me to anger. Behold, therefore I have stretched out my hand over thee, and have diminished thine ordinary food, and deliver thee unto the will of them that hate thee, the daughters of the Philistines, which are ashamed of thy lewd way. Thou hast played the whore also with the Assyrians, because thou wast unsatiable, yea, thou hast played the harlot with them, and yet couldst not be satisfied.
Hold it right there. You can hold it right there, but y'all, this is what I'm saying. If you looking at the Hamites looked at us and said, y'all worse than we are. They doing like this, like, show me how you committed that abomination. They're basically taking our instructions. How has the gold become dim now, y'all? Lamentations 4. The other nations are looking at it, they're like, yeah, we rough, but y'all getting out of control. Even 1 Corinthians 5:1 say that we were the chief MFers at that time. We were into everything. He said, y'all, a man should have his father's wife. Israel is like that. And who's the number one people that use the word MF more than anybody? Huh? So y'all, it's no coincidence that all of the parables and the prophecies are falling on one people. So every nation don't have an excuse of who we are. They know. And when they have the Olympics every 4 years, it's the... That's Israel right back here. You clean house. Clean house. Y'all, we got a couple more. Let's hit this Matthew 8:4. Y'all, we're gonna get these two. I want to make sure I get to the side end and let us understand. Matthew 8:4, Malik. Ephesians 5:26 and how man cleanses his way. So that y'all know how we have to cleanse our way before the evening prayer, y'all. Because we don't have priests to go to now. You got to get your mind right. Like bro was saying, how you gonna come in somewhere and you know you need on some rubber shorts? Don't come down here with that. I mean, let a man judge and examine himself. If you know you can leave that and drink of this cup, don't do it. Women the same. If you know you just want to be there and you know you crapped out, you hurting real bad like that woman on I'm gonna get you sucker again.
That's a movie.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites. When I asked what's wrong, she said crabs, and her hair blew out, and y'all know what I'm talking about. You know you like that, stay at home. Do yourself a favor. Because if you sitting over there like this, woo! And we holler Selah and you holler my dog. No, stay at home. Yo, because we have to, y'all, because either you here for the wrong reason. Something is going on that you just want to make an appearance and you bringing problems to the body, y'all. That's both male and female, y'all. Go ahead, bro. Where we at? Matthew, 8. Let's start at 4. And I just want to read that Ephesians 5:26. And John 13:1, we close out with the Messiah washing the disciples' feet, y'all, because that was the most important event that happened at the Passover. Feet wash. But what we're doing is he's getting us back to the order of Melchizedek. Hospitality, y'all, is the key amongst your neighbors and brothers. Somebody come to your house, how they be sitting there for 3 hours and you ain't offered them no water yet? Now you see their lips crusty all across, they looking like terrible beggars, and you still won't offer them no water. You keep giving signs. Where we at?
Matthew chapter 8, verse 4. And Yahweh says unto him.
I'll tell you what, yeah, back it up to 1, verse 1. And just read down there, and that's just going to let us know about the Messiah was still keeping the law.
Matthew chapter 8, verse 1. Go ahead, brother. When he was come down from the mountain, great multitudes followed him. And behold, there came a leper and worshipped him.
What that leper do?
Worshipped him.
Uh-huh.
Saying, Lord, if thou wilt, thou canst make me clean. And Yahweh shall put forth his hand and touched him, saying, I will be thou clean. And immediately his leprosy was clean.
So at this point, you'll have those that hate the Messiah was saying right there, the Messiah was unclean till evening, we don't see it. But he ain't seeing nothing else here. He's superseding the priest. They shall decrease, he shall increase. I'm talking about this instant cleansing. This ain't no 12-step program. This ain't no, you go back for 7 days. Instantly. So what you gonna put them away for? And both are clean at this point. He didn't transfer the leprosy. Let's read some more.
And Yahweh shall said unto him, see thou tell no man, but go thy way. Show thyself to the priest.
Show thyself to who?
To the priest. And offer the gift that Moses commanded for a testimony unto them.
So see, he still had to keep them in law because he hadn't been crucified yet. So the veil hadn't been rent. So he had to make sure we're playing according to the law, but he was introducing them to Melchizedek. This fading out, but I don't want anybody to say you didn't do what the law say and go to a priest. He's like, go show them you clean. What they gonna do at that point? Examine them? Damn. Well, what did he do? How long you been put out? He's like, man, I walked up to him full of sores and lepers and white across the knuckles. And I'm clean. Is that it for that? Okay, let's hit real quick. Let's hit that Mark 5:21. Y'all, we got these two more, y'all, we be out of here. Yeah, with that Ephesians 5 too. Y'all, because what we're seeing now, y'all, we're moving into a different conscious level of the law. It's time out for y'all that every time something has to happen, we have to point and say, you doing this wrong. Eventually, you're going to have to circumcise your heart.
That's right.
The foreskin of your heart. Sooner or later, or you going to play that can you catch me game till you dead. Can you catch it? Y'all, with these cameras out here, all of these cameras, y'all see that sister trying to backpedal and say, I wish they assassinate Trump. Yeah. She tried to pull it off too late. Too late. iCloud and everything got it. So don't get full of yourself and stand in the mirror and flick that camera and think you the only one got it.
Yesterday, I had a picture come on my phone and it said, this is where we were a year ago. Clicked on it, man, they track, you know. It was just, I don't see it before, it said, this is where we were a year ago. It was a picture that I took a year ago. And they,
Y'all think about that now. It's tracking latitude and longitude of every photograph taken on these phones. So they know exactly where you were when that photo was taken. This where you were this time last year. Y'all, so there's nothing that can stop what was happening but behavior. If you walking according to the law, I don't care if cameras following you, if cameramen following you like this. If you walking according to the law, they gonna get tired and go find some more action. Oh, this Negro's bored. Where we at? Mark 5:21, y'all, real quick, y'all. We're gonna hit this. I just want to hit that verse and we're gonna jump down on it and hit these last two. We out.
Mark chapter 5, verse 21. And when Yahweh was passed,
walk shorty around, y'all.
And when Yahweh was passed over again by ship unto the other side, much people gathered unto him, and he was nigh to the sea. And behold, there cometh one of the rulers of the synagogue, Jairus by name. And when he saw him, he fell at his feet.
You got that drink for her. That's what she wants.
And he besought him greatly, saying, my little daughter lieth at the point of death. I pray thee, come and lay thy hands on her.
Do what?
Lay thy hands on her.
Now we know about Numbers 19th chapter, and it tells us about the dead and how the dead defiles you. Now he's finna touch a dead body. So y'all, we got to get this understanding and see where we're seeing the transitions of power of laying on hands when the Holy Spirit is ruling and you can just touch somebody and it cures them and heals. But we had a whole nother group despising that. Do y'all believe that despise? It's almost like when you're breaking off to your relatives who still going to Sunday worship. They actually have a problem with you learning the commandments. Yeah, girl, something about you learning the Bible, the commandments. I mean, you got a look on your face of disdain because you're trying to do right. Go ahead, bro.
They getting faker and faker. You can see straight through them now.
Yeah, but see, right, you're not worried about that, but what we're saying is you're seeing that same practice around there that where you're being despised for trying to keep the commandments of the Lord.
Right.
That's a problem because they're saying you may identify my problem by you doing that. All you doing is trying to walk in the word, deeds of the law,
Right.
not talk of the law. Anybody can sell wolf tickets. Go ahead.
They think they copying somebody else calling themselves righteous. You know, when you can't be that fake and act like, you know, I can't see this and like you act like something wrong with me and I'm looking at how y'all acting. And if they imitate somebody else, they think that's right.
Absolutely.
I say, you act like the TV.
Well, those are the ways of the world.
Right.
My sin don't count. I can do whatever I want to do. It don't matter. Then what you getting up every Sunday morning for if that's the case? For what? To prove what to who? If you saved already, what you getting up for? Why you wasting your time? To do what other than going to show off for something? If you already saved, you shouldn't be no problem. Austin Lane should be off the table. You shouldn't even be able to die if you already saved. What you got?
Like you said, if it ain't no law, then stealing, you can still steal and kill and do everything.
Absolutely.
Because they still steal like it ain't. They steal like they ain't never been to church.
So, right, so what we're talking about, y'all, is what's happening to you when you come into true faith of the Most High, and that's
Right.
keeping His commandments so that ye may live. And if you just tell them, plain and simple, you ain't got to pound their head off, just tell them, I'm just trying to live forever. And it says the only way I can do that is keep these commandments. Now, you're telling me your pastor said that I can live and don't keep. Is that what you're telling me? So y'all, this is what we have to experience, y'all, but we have to keep walking this walk. We can't offend in word. Not in word. You can offend about something else, but we can't offend in this word because you got to give everybody you run across an opportunity, especially if you're talking to them, an opportunity to come on board. If you offend and they don't come, that's on your jacket. Can't cuss them out. You can't do that. If they won't listen to the words coming out of your mouth, show them your walk. Just walk the walk, and I guarantee you, they're going to be calling you late at night. You seeing what's going on? Now, you can be a little asinine and say, did you call your pastor before you called me? You be wanting to do it, but no, just delete it out. It ain't personal. Even though you want to so bad. But that soul is poor and it's reaching out at that point, and that's the devil trying you at that point. Telling you. Didn't call you the other day when you was telling them about that. They didn't call. Cuss them out right now. Hang up and tell them to call their pastor. And what you gonna be doing but can't get back to sleep because you thinking about it and tossing and turning, not hot coals on your head instead of theirs. You should just be doing this and lay on back there. Tell them to call me back if you got anything else you need. Right. And go back to sleep. Let them struggle with the cool side of the pillow where it's at. Where we at? Who had something? Ish? Oh, who said something? Oh, y'all good? Go ahead, brother. Y'all getting out of here.
Continuation of verse 23.
What it say?
I pray thee, come and lay thy hands on her, that she may be healed, and she shall live. And Jehovah went with him, and much people followed him, and thronged him. And a certain woman which had an issue of blood 12 years.
So much people followed him and thronged him. It's like a boxing champ coming down to the ring. Everybody reaching out trying to touch him. You know, they thronging him. Yeah, go ahead, brother.
And a certain woman which had an issue of blood 12 years.
How many years?
12 years.
How does a body produce blood enough to bleed out for 12 years? 12 years. Non-stop for 12 years. Go ahead, brother.
And had suffered many things of many physicians, and had spent all that she had, and was nothing better, but rather grew worse.
So she had side effects from the physician. All they doing is prescribing prescriptions for her. Here, try this, and it's producing side effects. So she's suffering more. It's just like you want to stop smoking, try this. You'll stop smoking, they got that smooth music playing. But then they say these are the side effects, and they read them off real quick. Visible gags, headaches, this, that, this, that. You got 10 more over here. 10 more over here when you got this one right here. So you suffer more. It's y'all see today a whole bag of medicine. High blood pressure medicine, then you need a water pill. Well, the water pill flush out all the potassium, now you need a potassium pill. Because potassium keeps the heart from cramping up because it's a muscle. So you're back to the high blood pressure, which is going to destroy your heart. So all the medicines do the work that was started at the beginning. And it's all related to diet. If you get back on the program, you can get rid of all the medicine. If it ain't took effect of where it's harmed the body already. Go ahead, brother.
Verse 27. When she had heard of Yahushua, came in the press behind, and touched his garment.
Did what?
Touched his garment.
Now we just read anything that they touch, right?
Right.
Anything they touch ought to be put out for 7 days, right? Let's read some more.
For she said, if I may touch but his clothes, I shall be whole. And straightway the fountain of her blood was dried up.
See, it said a fountain of blood. Yo, this wasn't no light time of the month. This was heavy non-stop for 12 years. I mean, you know, it was rough on her. Y'all know how rough it was on her? It got older too. I mean, every time she come out here, come big cat country. Y'all been out to Florida. Y'all been in big cat country. It's terrible. Go ahead. I got something back. What you got some about? Right.
And also when women take the birth control shots.
Yeah.
They stop taking that shot. Yeah. They will bleed. I'm telling you, it's scary. The amount of blood that they can produce when they stop taking the shots. I went to a experience of saying, I had a girl on my job, I had to go get diapers for the girls.
Every day. Because she's changing the course of the natural cycle. Y'all, we that people, y'all, and if we don't follow these laws, statutes, and judgments of cleansing and healing, we're going to be in trouble. We're going to be a sick people. The whole head will be sick. Let's hit this last one, y'all. Then we're going to move over to this last Ephesians, y'all. We're going to close out here. Go ahead. That John 13 we're going to end with. Go ahead, bro. Where you at?
Verse 29 again.
What it say?
And straightway the fountain of her blood was dried up, and she felt in her body that she was healed of that plague.
So we see here again, mind over matter. All that money spent on the physician, all that time with the priest, and she thought then, the son is here. The king is here. If I can just reach and touch his garment, all this will stop. It was prophesied about. The mighty redeemer.
That's right.
The chief healer is here. If I can just get through the crowd, if I can bust through the crowd and just grab the tail end of it, I'm going to be healed. Who got that faith in here? Let's read some more.
Verse 30. And Yahushua, immediately knowing in himself that virtue had gone out of him, turned him about in the press and said, who touched my clothes?
Right.
And his disciples said unto him, thou seest the multitude thronging thee, and sayest thou, who touched me?
Right, he's like, look, everybody gathered around, these people on you, just y'all picture like a champion just won a fight, and he's coming through the crowd, everybody patting on him. He's like, everybody patting on you. And he said, no, somebody touch me. Let's read some more.
And he looked around about to see her that had done this thing. But the woman, fearing and trembling, knowing what was done in her, came and fell down before him and told him all the truth. And he said unto her, Daughter, thy faith hath made thee whole. Go in peace and be whole of thy plague.
Be what of thy plague?
Whole of thy
See,
plague.
when you made whole of your plague, ain't no 12-step program. Ain't no prescriptions to take. You are made whole at that hour. He said, daughter, go and be whole. Your faith made you whole. You believe, y'all, this thing is about belief in the law, statutes, and judgment, and your mental and circumcising the foreskin of your heart. If you ain't doing that, you wasting your time. Because it's going to be just like if you get off cigarettes, as soon as a problem happens, you're going to be reaching for one. We don't want to fall back into that. What you got?
They try to mirror that in the Green Mile a little bit.
What happened? Yes, sir.
Mirror that in the Green
Yes, sir. And y'all ever see the movie The Green Mile? Where he was technically an angel. Now guess what happened? Now he sucking down demons, putting wicked men to death, but she put her Saint Michael cross on him, which is an idol, and he ended up getting killed.
And it didn't work for her because she was full of cancer and tumors when she had it.
When she had it on, she was full of tumors and cancer. And she put it on him, he sucked it out of her, he ended up getting electrocuted. See, he should have grabbed it and thrown it out the window. This ain't no good. You had this on, what did it do for you? We can hold that, bro. Let's hit this Ephesians 5:26, y'all. We just want to see. Y'all write down Psalm 119, verse 9. How shall a man cleanse his way, y'all? We don't have priests to go to, y'all, so we got to find how we can cleanse ourselves. And it's always going to come back to the word because most of our problem or disease is diet related. Diet related. Every doctor, by order, first thing they do is give you a diet. This is what you need to start putting in your body. If you can't do that, here's that prescription, and you know what comes with it. VG. Hey, every doctor do it. But y'all, we didn't get into that Leviticus 11, but y'all get into that too, and you see everywhere we just weren't supposed to touch the carcass for food. It's not food. You can eat it like food, pork, but you're gonna run sluggish. Head gonna be hurt. It's like putting moonshine in your Cadillac. It'll start it up, but it's gonna run like this. Yeah, start back up, till you put the right gas in there. So in like manner, you can't put bad gas in her. It's gonna clog up all the filters. And what's the first place it do? Hit the liver and the kidneys. What are those? Filters. Where we at? 5:26, John 13:1. Y'all closing out. Yeah.
Ephesians chapter 5, verse 26.
And y'all, this is talking about a body too, or one flesh deal, y'all, that we're looking at. That how we cleanse the body with the washing of the word. Washing of the word. See, we used to have to wash and go to a priest. Now we have to wash ourselves and immerse ourselves in this word. You have to dip yourself in this word and come up clean. If you don't, you're wasting your time. We can't get into this to make war with our brother. Because that's all you're going to do. Where we at?
Ephesians chapter 5, verse 22.
What it say?
Wives, submit yourselves unto your own husband.
Yes, sir.
As unto the Lord. For the husband is the head of the wife, even as Christ is the head of the church. And he is the Savior of the body.
What is he?
The Savior of the body. Therefore, as the church is subject unto Christ, so let the wives be to their own husbands in everything. Husbands, love your wives.
Do what?
Love your wives.
Uh-huh.
Even as Christ also loved the church and gave himself for it.
So give yourself, and y'all, this don't mean just crazy stuff. Cause she embroidered with all stuff and pants where cakes is split and somebody will, and then you just quit looking at my woman. You should have checked that at home.
Right.
Now you get out here and another fist come from out of nowhere. Where we at?
Husbands, love your wives, even as Christ also loved the church and gave himself for it, that he might sanctify and cleanse it with the washing by the word.
With the washing by the word that sanctifies a reunion. A union, I should say, not a reunion, a union.
Yeah, I missed all words.
Did you?
Yeah. Verse 26, that he might sanctify and cleanse it with the washing of water by the word.
With the washing of water by the word. Living water. Spiritual water. Y'all, this will wash you clean if you adhere to it. It's Mark 16th chapter. Is if you eat any unclean thing that somebody done tricked you out of. Not I'm talking about you ordered it off the list. You got it off the list and somebody slipped you. He said, I'll take care of all that as long as your mind is on what you're supposed to be on that dietary list. I'm not going to cleanse hog meat. I'm killing hog meat eaters that love it on the second coming, Isaiah 66:15. I'm killing all hog eaters. I'm talking about hog eaters that say, I don't care what them scriptures say. I love me some hog. John 13:1, y'all, we'll close out. Y'all, when we talk about the Passover, y'all, when we talk about its baptism, water, or fire, he told them, if I didn't do this, y'all can't get into the kingdom. They had already had the Holy Spirit and been baptized. But this washing right here, bringing hospitality back on you, and this the master, y'all. Got down on his knees and washed his disciples' feet. Even Judas rotten were in. Where we at?
John, book of John, chapter 13, verse 1.
You can still jump down to verse 5, y'all, for time's sake.
Verse 5. After that he poured water into a basin and began to wash the disciples' feet.
What he began to do?
Wash the disciples' feet and to wipe them with a towel or wood he was girded.
Go ahead.
Then cometh he to Simon Peter, and Peter said unto him, Lord, dost thou wash my feet? Jesus answered and said unto him, What I do thou knowest not now, but thou shalt know hereafter. Peter said unto him, Thou shalt never wash my feet. Jesus answered him, If I wash thee not, thou have no part with me.
See, and what Peter was always this. Peter was always zealous and gung-ho. He was like, no, Lord, you the master, don't wash my feet. A lot of times he didn't know what was going on. Just like when the Romans and the chief priests came to get him, he cut that ear off that high priest. Like, no, partner, you're halting prophecy in your zealousness. I know you zealous and you want this and you want that sword in your hand, but this ain't the time yet. Let's read some more.
Verse 9.
What it say?
Simon Peter saith unto him, Lord, not my feet only, but also my hands and my head. Jesus said unto him, He that is washed needeth not save to wash his feet, but is clean every whit. And ye are clean, but not at all.
But not all.
But not all.
So he was talking about Judas Iscariot. He said, look, I ain't got to wash your whole body, just your feet. I'm introducing back when Abraham milked Melchizedek, the high priest back then, and Christ is after the order of Melchizedek. That the first thing he did, feet washing, bread and wine. Come on in, hospitality. And drinking of that cup of the bread and the wine under that order. Abraham was under Melchizedek in that order. Anybody walk by, even when you read like the 21st chapter of Jasher, when he went to go see Ishmael, he said, I ain't seen my son for a long time. And the first thing he did, his Ishmael's first wife was a Canaanite woman out of control. He said as soon as he pulled up on that camel, she was cussing the children out. Get y'all black! Get over here, you ugly! And he say, hey, is Ishmael around? She's like, no, he going somewhere hunting with his mom. These bad chillings around here, pretty. He like, no water for his feet. He said, you need to change the, you tell him when he come home. Old man stopped by and tell him to change the nail in his tent. See, the nail in the tent would be where you man lay his hat at, you know, so to speak. No hospitality. They didn't invite him in. Ishmael changed the nail in his tent, and when Abraham came back to see his son again, first thing she did was come out with water, hospitality. He like, good choice, son, good choice.
Can I say something?
Yeah, go ahead, bro.
Hey, again, there's a lot of people that know the Hebrews, but they are totally sworn against the testimony of the Messiah. Now, this guy online that says because the Messiah washed the disciples' feet. What man touched another man's grown feet? He must have been gay. All right, my look. Y'all write these scriptures down here.
Yes, sir.
Feet washing is the custom of our forefathers.
Yes, sir.
In the Old Testament.
Yes, sir.
Genesis 18:4, Genesis 19:2, Genesis 24:32, and Genesis 43:24. All of these were under the order of Melchizedek before Moses received the law of Mount Sinai.
What was the last 2 hours?
They up on the board. Genesis 24:32, Genesis 43:24. And you see every time someone stopped through, whether it was a stranger or whatever, they always would serve and keep their feet off and get your feet washed. So for them to call the Messiah a homosexual for washing the disciples' feet, but never brought up Abraham washing angels' feet.
Right.
Lot washing the men's feet that went to destroy Sodom and Gomorrah.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Or Eliezer and them going to get Rebecca. Like that was something that we did that is actually a commandment of the Most High, showing hospitality like Daniel was saying.
So y'all, that's what we want to be aware of what the Most High is looking for. He's looking for us to be hospitable to your neighbor, because you're going to be doing that for starting out as 1,000 years. Right now, we can't last a weekend. Look at that nigga coming again. Damn. I'm going to have to move out to Wentzville. I bet they call me before they come out here. No more. They ain't going to be like that in the kingdom. Every neighbor, y'all, when they show up, it's going to be good time. Ain't nobody going to have to say, lock that door behind you. For what? Ain't no thieves in the kingdom. Ain't got to worry about that. It's just hospitality, y'all, and that's what the Messiah had to show us first before he comes with that wrath in the second coming. He had to show you first what it's like. If he came with that wrath first, then all of us would have been dead. We wouldn't even be sitting here. Because everybody was worthy of death at that time except for the short legs. We'd all been dead like we was in the wilderness when he bodied 3,000. So y'all, with that, we're gonna close out. Anybody got any questions?
Any announcement?
Any announcements, things on your mind?
Go and do the same.